Okay. Welcome to Castle Run. I'm your DM, Elijah Goodall, pronouns they, them. And we're going to go around real quick, and everyone's going to introduce themselves and the character they play. And then we're going to do a little recap of where we left off in the last session, and then we're going to get right down to it. So we start with Atticus.
Hello, my name is Sean, and I play Atticus Phoenix. They are a human fighter with a nice little homebrew Mage Slayer subclass. What can you say about Atticus? Right now, they're juggling Destiny, they're juggling abrupt fatherhood or reconnecting with fatherhood, and trying to make sure the party's all doing the right thing. And yeah, it's a lot for the big guy. But yeah, he's just your happy-go-lucky, defy all the odds and be positive in it type of knight.
Cool. And Fauna.
Hello, my name's Aaliyah and I play Fauna, pronouns she, her, and I am a witch, which is a homebrew class that Eli made up for me. And I have horns because of this kind of a curse situation. It's very mysterious. And then also I have a cat familiar, the cat who is my BFF. And
He definitely is.
yeah, some stuff went down. I feel like every session, like some stuff went down.
Yes, it was pretty wild for the last couple weeks, though.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to remember where we're at, but I guess you'll probably tell us.
I can do that
That's
pretty
it.
handily. Yeah.
Guess that makes it me. I'm June, and I play Nyx Loon. Both their pronouns are she, they. And Nyx is a divine sorcerer / rogue assassin. They're probably, I think they are the oldest out of the party, about 2,000 something years old. The exact date is unknown even to them. And they were held in an enchanted locket for most of those years, only released to perform various duties for various holders of that locket. Freed by the party, and now the party has both become a figurative chosen family and also a literal chosen family. Perrin is their godson, but he doesn't know that yet. And yeah, I think they've gone through like what everyone else is saying, just a whole lot of shit happens every week, but they're reaching a rare point of stability, and I think for them that is a struggle because they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, that's a good summary. That takes us to Perrin.
My name is Tyler James. I play Perrin Meliamne. Perrin is a ranger bard, and he is recently returned from some kind of alternate reality where there were evil, or in Perrin's perception, just slightly more abrupt versions of the party members. And Perrin is kind of struggling with destiny also, and with making the group do the right thing and whatever else Sean said about Atticus. Perrin's also doing all those things, just to worse ends. And yeah, he's our ranger bard con man / mid-range bruiser / I make shit up and you guys let me get away with it.
It also begs the question, is the only difference between murder hobos and adventurers on a quest abruptness?
Yeah, like genuinely,
really
I don't
abrupt a lot tonight.
Yeah, I don't think Perrin walked
Hey,
out
we
of
gotta
that
speed
being
this
like,
up.
those were evil
Sorry.
people. I think he was like, I think they were just cutting to the chase a little bit more, but like otherwise, like I could see everyone murdering these goblins just with a lot more talking beforehand.
Hey, listen, we don't want to do this, but we got to get here.
But like we're gonna.
And what we're gonna. We don't want to. That brings us to Vox.
Hi, I'm Q. I play Vox, a half elf, also assassin rogue, and also newly developed Rune Knight. Vox is probably the most likely to do murdering more than her friends. She's a little bit more stabby and trying to work on that and trying to be more trusting of everyone that she's with. Also, might come from a house of hope or mist who knows, not her. She's not me either. And yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to do the recap and then we're going to get into it. When we left off last, what essentially amounted to kind of a side quest in the middle of our current arc to get Atticus down to the South Green resulted in a bargain being made with an incredibly powerful entity in a place between realms that caused what would have been a change not just in the world but in all of the world's history, as the memory of a very important person was erased, and therefore their existence and everything that they had an effect on in the world also erased. This changing world, though, was confined to a little pocket dimension or realm, though, that when Fauna was able to summon the House of Dusk, and within the Dusk realm fix that incursion upon the world where you all live until it could be corrected, which it was in a battle last session, where the entity who consumed the memory was not necessarily outright, certainly not killed, was released, but defeated in a way that the memory was relinquished, everything returned, and the entity disappeared through a doorway created by Perrin, as he begins to gain control over those latent powers of what essentially amounts to like modified teleportation, in the mechanics of 5e. At the end of that session, you all took a long rest in that space between realms and then decided to step through the door for a much needed spa day. Unfortunately, with a roll of a 1 on a D100, the place that you all stepped into, while it is we'll say a hot tub or a hot springs of sorts, it is not where you had intended to be, in the hot springs of Solasa, but rather the large, how should we call it, bathing chambers of one Vladimir Thacuul, the occupying vampire of a mysterious house on a little island in the middle of Lake Lenore. And that is right where we're going to pick up.
Oh, fuck, guys, I think I landed us in some hot water.
Oh, Perrin.
Wait a second. I know this voice right here. Hey, Cletus, does this voice sound familiar to you?
Yeah, that's Atticus. That's your voice. You're talking.
It's so hard to see through the mist. Who is?
Atticus walks through the mist heroically towards Vlad.
Oh,
but
fuck!
with a big smile on his face.
Fuck! Vladimir is actively like trying to scramble out of the large stone. I mean, for lack of a better way, it is a hot tub. It's just a large stone kind of.
Hey, cool guy. Hey, cool.
I did not expect to see you again.
I'm in a situation where I feel like I'm doing the wrong because I'm in your house randomly and you're supposed to be dead.
Oh, well.
Your house is a hot tub?
Well, the house is a lot more
We're not
than
in
a hot
the
tub.
hot springs?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what? Who is this?
No, these are hot springs. I have them pumped directly into my house. You're in
We're just
my
at the hot
house.
springs.
What the fuck are
I'm
you all
looking-
doing here? Why are
I'm
you with
gonna
this
look
guy?
at. I'm gonna
This is
look in
really
Fauna's
ruining my
direction.
Tuesday.
I'm gonna look in Fauna's direction and go, cool guy. Remember the cool guy.
Oh my
The
god!
vampire?
Yes,
heard so
Vladimir
much
Thacuul,
about
I
you.
said is my name.
Fawn is gonna like.
I see
pump
you are
his
here,
hand.
Phoenix Knight, and you tall green guy.
Perrin
Come
starts
back
throwing
again, I
pieces
guess.
of bread at the vampire. He's throwing chunks of bread
Perrin,
at him.
What the
Perrin,
fuck?
stop
Back!
that!
Get back!
I'm not a
Back,
duck.
vampire.
Why are you feeding
This
me
whole
with-
wheat.
I don't. It's not. It's whole wheat. You say? How many? What's?
What? It's 5 grains.
Fawn is
Why are
just
you
shaking
liking
his
this?
hands right now,
Oh,
like
it's delicious.
vigorously.
Is perhaps you have more? I'm tasting something in there. There's a seed that's caraway, perhaps.
How did you eat? All right. You know what? Vampires are pretty cool.
Oh,
Look,
well,
you
know what?
thanks. You know, I
think we're
try
friends.
here.
I feel like-
it's a lot. I think a friendship is a two-part thing. Really, you're just a stranger who dropped into my hot tub and started throwing delicious bread at me. But I,
Look, Vlad. You know how portals work sometimes, where it's like you think you're going someplace else, and you go through it, and then you end up here, and it seems just like a
I
mistake.
don't. I
in, like-
have lived my entire life in this house. I go through a door. On the other side of the door is what I expect. Is kitchen, is library, is hot tub that you are all in.
Well,
Why do you have a kitchen?
while this looks like a
here.
Well, in case I'm entertaining guests, I needed to fix
Sure,
the
sure.
food
That makes
for.
sense.
well, since this is a horrible mistake, I want to take it as a chance to mend it. Maybe
That,
I know all those years ago we had that. It was a really cool fight. It was pretty exciting
that was
for
cool
everyone
for you. I was
involved.
running for my life. You interrupt me in the middle of spring cleaning.
Well, I got some bad intel, but we were just in a village where, correct me if I'm wrong, but the old man who kind of ran the place said that everyone liked you and thought you were a decent person.
Again, I
back me up.
almost never leave house. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check real quick, Atticus.
Just that's
You can
what
do it
the
with
guy
advantage
said, right?
because of Perrin throwing the bread that
Yeah.
Vladimir thought
Still
was delicious.
throwing like a small piece every 8 seconds.
You don't
Are
have
there
to feed me
soaps
like that.
around?
You just put it in my hand. It gets
Well,
all
I
wet
guess
in this.
just for connecting in the past, I like in a session didn't I bring it up and the guy was like, "Oh, he's not a bad guy" or something like that.
Oh, that might be true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. But go ahead and make that persuasion check regardless. He probably does leave
If
it. He's
there's
just very
That's
Soaps around. I'd
great,
like to start washing my hair.
because I rolled a 2, but
For
then I
sure.
rolled an 11. But since we are all level 10 now, persuasion is something I'm proficient in persuasion, so it's going to be a 17 now.
Box roll for
okay.
suds.
Bucks, go ahead and make me a perception check. Yeah, to see what's a better word than
It's an 8.
toiletries? What
18.
you find some bathing salts over here. There's kind of some. It's got like a citrus hibiscus thing going on. There's just sort of a big jar of them. Next to that is also what looks to just be like maybe some kind of like charcoal. So there's definitely very nice cleaning.
Oh, I'm going for it. I'm using
Awesome.
everything.
Fantastic. 17 is pretty good. Yeah, I think Vladimir's going to change his tone a little bit. Listen, last time you interrupt me, again, like I said, in middle of spring cleaning, things were thrown. I was in a panic. Not my best day. Again, I understand it with Fang. I tried to bite. It's necessary you cut off my head. I get it. Listen.
Yeah. Hey, Cletus, why did we come after him in the first place? He actually seems like a chill guy.
I mean,
Do you remember?
best I can remember, Atticus, we were here to try and uncover whatever secrets, and when this guy crept on us, it was, I don't know, we just kind of had that feeling the whole time, eyes are watching you, and oh yes, I do like to watch from time to time. I have lots of little holes in the house that we don't need to talk about that.
That is deeply unsettling, but
no,
I will look
You might
past
want to
it.
rethink that.
Well, listen.
Hey, Vlad, I'll look past
you are a
it.
guest in my house is only ever with consent and full knowledge. To be fair, you have not been a guest in my house. You have not been invited any time you've been here.
Wait, hold on. Just to be clear, what you're saying is you have lots of small peepholes in your house so that you can look at people who you don't want in your house, but you just look at them.
Well, is helpful, yes, for spying on intruders, but is also helpful for other things
Right.
with consensual.
Okay,
I think
look,
you get
hold
where
on.
I'm going at this point.
Aaron
You
digs
seem
through
kind
his
of like a
pockets.
nasty boy
Wait.
too. So
What are you getting
How many
at?
guests do you
I don't
get?
understand.
This got a little weird, but at least he asked
an
for
invitation
consent.
to Novalore from Vladimir Thacuul. I tell you, I've thrown some parties here in my time.
Right.
Look,
All right.
okay.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Or-
Whoa. Do you got this? Go ahead, please.
No.
So-
You got the.
It sounded
I
like
got
you
the
had something
thing
that was
to
really
be got-
good.
Hey, listen. Do you have any
Pardon
more
me.
of that bread?
All right, sorry, Vladimir. Hold on a second. We're in the middle of something.
Do
you wanna go?
It's no problem. I wait.
So Vlad, tell
mean-
me more about what happens in these peepholes.
No. Listen.
Why is that
it
the
like-
thing you want to know
like
more
playing
about? What do you
chess,
mean?
or-
I sometimes
Like
just
what
play
is it like?
chess,
Like you're
yes.
doing like
I
Scrabble
would call
or
it chess. There are a lot
No,
of moves.
don't.
Certainly.
No,
There's-
don't tell her. No,
we have
leave it alone.
Kings
No,
and queens
Fauna,
and
don't ask this.
pawns and these
Edith, don't you
What?
ask
What's
either.
wrong?
royal
wrong?
and
I-
servile and all matter of.
All right. I've
So
heard
here's
enough about
how it's
your-
gonna
your-
be.
Your little glory
Yeah,
holes.
so
Aaron,
here's-
take it away.
well, oh, right. Okay.
What
Perrin
is
pulls out his
glory hole? I
badge
don't
and he says,
know
"I'm a
this term."
deputy."
Oh,
have that?
shit!
Yeah.
No,
I am a
You
deputy.
see, dives underwater.
That doesn't help. Now you just can't hear me.
all right,
Somebody
all right.
get him out of the water.
I'm gonna just
Does
walk
he
into the water because I
water
assume I just
damage?
tower over the water
Yeah.
and I just pull him out.
Give me a perception
Aaron,
check.
it's
I am gonna roll a stealth check. He is
sloshing
legitimately
through.
trying to hide. That's a 2 on the die
Okay.
for a total of 4. So
I rolled a 7.
yeah,
but,
you see just like a
10,
couple
11.
bubbles. He's just crouched on the bottom. A couple bubbles are coming up. Give
I-
me an
I pull him
athletics check
out.
to haul him up.
Okay.
I will say, I did just roll a nat 20 on my athletics check too, or rather acrobatics too.
He's a really
Yeah,
good swimmer.
I rolled a 17. So
You see, just begins crawling along the bottom of the, trying to scurry away.
Vladimir,
doing?
I wanna make this up to you, please. Let's just talk. I'm sorry I broke into your house, not once, but apparently a second time. From what I'm hearing, I'm kind of the bad guy in this situation, and I don't like that. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna make direct eye contact with him and have like a very sincere like, hey bud, I'm very sorry that I cut your head off when you were just trying to live your life, and that was wrong of me, and it's also wrong of me now that I'm here without your permission or consent. To be fair, we didn't know we were going to end up here, but let's take this misfortune as a way to break bread with each other, maybe. Or I mean, Perrin actually
Deputy.
broke bread.
And he throws
Real
bread at him.
shit! Just tell that guy to stop me. Listen, I've
Perrin,
got a
Perrin,
lot
Perrin.
of stuff here.
I'm sorry, deputy. You can stand down.
Sorry, I just remembered that I had this and I thought it might be useful.
No. I'm sure it will come in handy in the future. Look, Vlad, you know what? You seem pretty chill. I'm sorry about all that stuff years ago. This is my party. They're all very
Okay.
good people. How can I make this up to you? I've heard good things about you, and
Listen.
so, you know.
Atticus is very kind, despite the fact that you interrupt me in my, I'm in the middle of bathing. You're being very kind in this moment. This is very different from the last time we met, and I understand. I came at you. It's bias being what it is. When the vampire comes at you, hissing with their teeth out, I understand the natural judgmental reaction. I tell you what. I make you official invitation right now for you and your entire friends to be my guest for the next few days. You know, I have a pretty big party planned at the end of the week, and I don't know you well enough yet. I don't know, if you're cool with certain things. So if you would like to be here for a couple more days, let me formally invite you. Welcome to Novalore. I would love it if you would be my guests for however long you wish, for any amount of time, as long as it does not extend into the party I have planned at the end of the week.
So you're saying for any amount of time between like a few minutes and 3 days?
Yes. Unless we hit it off and I decide you are cool and you should, come to the party, and then you get invited. But then it's your choice too,
Right. That's pretty suspicious that you're welcoming us here.
Is he nude?
We're going to the vampire thing again, right? With welcome. The tropes are not only false, but also hurtful. So let's get that right out of the way right now.
But answer the lady's question.
I'm just a regular guy hanging out in a big house. I would like you to be my guests.
But you are fully nude under there.
Yes, that is true. I am fully nude. I did not expect guests. And again, with consent is a different thing. But I usually, if I'm entertaining someone, if they are new to Novalore, I would generally close. If you excuse me, I have a towel right over there, and you see shuffles out into the steam and it puts you see a little monogram, you can kind of see the back through the steam, and then a robe gun comes back and he's just sort of sitting on the edge now. He's got a little monogrammed robe with a V and a T. So
when he was shuffling away, Fauna was like,
give me a perception check.
she's just curious about, life and all the stuff she's never encountered before.
It makes sense, yeah.
24.
Jesus Christ. We've never gone at lengths to discuss what Fauna's necessarily into. If Fauna's wheelhouse is Cletus, this could not be further. This is like a 5.5 foot man, very pale skin, kind of not the graceful pointed out, but almost kind of they almost look as if they've been chewed on a little bit. They're a little kind of like bat ears, a little asymmetrical too, one off point. Big bags under his, it looks like doesn't do a lot of sleeping, maybe not even during the day. Very, very kind of pale, sallow skin, doesn't go out a lot. Rail thin, just rail thin. Kind of very gaunt features too. The cheekbones stick through a lot. It's kind of I'm trying to think of a good way to say this without putting someone on blast. Like a malnourished Crispin Glover.
All right. That really paints a picture.
Yeah.
My type. Just my type.
Much shorter though. I think Crispin Glover's pretty tall. This guy's 5.5 feet.
All right. Well, Vlad, I appreciate your kindness in this situation. I feel like I got egg on my face.
It's my
a little
pleasure.
Bit. What do you think, Nyx, Fauna, Vox, Perrin, Bert?
I mean, he's being very gracious for home invaders.
As long as I can finish my bath.
Oh, yes, of course. You are my guest. The facilities are at your disposal. If anyone is hungry, I can go and have the help begin preparing a meal. Is certainly is the usual protocol for something like this. And we can all sit down and get to know each other. Until then, it will take an hour or two. Until then, please feel free to wander at will. Welcome to the beautiful Novalore. on the island in the middle of Lake Lenore. It is my pleasure to have you here, and I shall go arouse the help and begin preparing a meal. Until
don't
then,
do that. I don't want them to be aroused.
Oh, well, I'll let them know then. No arousal, okay? That's a little.
I mean, they
a
can
little
if they
change in the
want.
usual-
I just don't want
I
you
just
to
usually,
necessitate that.
usually that.
It just
Listen,
feels a little
I know I'm
aggressive.
being
see
a
you-
little
we'll s-
ambiguous, and it's just because we've just met, but there are a lot of parties here of a certain sort, and so I can certainly tell.
Wait, what sort of parties?
Well,
Vlad.
Nope.
We'll see you in a couple hours.
is
all right.
fantastic.
We'll
Yes,
see you.
yes, lovely. The dining hall then, just you'll exit here, go to the left down the hall to the main room. You'll see the ascending stairs. From there, the dining room is not hard to find. It's just follow the smells. And again, welcome all of you to Novalore. And Vladimir's going to give you a bow and leave.
All right, so we can get cleaned up and bandaged up, but we should leave first thing in the morning.
But he seems so
Thanks
nice.
for-
Shouldn't we stay and hang out with him?
You got his head off?
You killed this guy, Atticus? I thought you were
I mean,
killing
I
monsters
gotta
and
say,
stuff.
Atticus, as long as we're here, I mean, big party sounds like kind of a nice break after what we've been through on the way down to.
What?
Ain't
That kind of party sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and Atticus, isn't
ain't
it your birthday soon?
tomorrow?
Look at this. Why did you say that? Why'd you say?
I'm sorry, I know you're just a sandbagging son of a gun when it comes to. But look, listen,
How old are you?
you don't show a day, Atticus. I mean, do they all know how old you are?
Yeah, I
28?
think they know I'm pretty old. I think most of the party knows. But I'm turning. Gosh, Atticus is counting. You see Atticus counting on his hand over and over. He's like, I think tomorrow marks 1,001.
What?
Yeah.
Wow,
Lex
looking
is
good,
gonna high
Atticus.
five him.
From the back, Bert. God damn!
Atticus, did you say Nick's high fives, Atticus? Atticus
Nick's
is
is just-
what the fuck? He puts his hand up and he's like, it's the most emoting I've seen Nick's do. And he's just like, yeah, sure shit. Yeah, I mean, shoot. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
I'm
Yeah.
300, and I thought I was kind of old.
I mean, Perrin, I feel like I told you how old I was in the castle.
I don't really remember a lot of that between the death and the drunkenness and the dying.
Well, I mean, it's not really a gift as much as it's probably more of a curse. But
Right.
yeah, I've been around for quite some time. Maybe today I've been meaning to talk to all of you anyways about what we're kind of heading towards. So maybe a nice little break would be good. But we should probably talk about what's ahead.
Yeah, we should
but-
strategize. Aaron starts pacing in the middle of the hot tub. He's just sloshing
This is
around
slow.
at
Really
waist-high
slow
water.
pacing.
He's like,
As you're doing this, Vox, you're finishing washing up. Bert is gonna kind of sidle up to you. Hey, Vox, you got any, fancy soaps up there? I'm just trying to get cleaned up and wash out my hair and.
Oh, yeah, your hair. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Uh-huh. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
it's
sure you
gone.
could still use the soap, but yeah, right now there's not really much hair. You're more
No.
just a lot of skin.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I forgot.
But you
back
were- Remember having hair.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I remember it pretty well. It was a pretty strange thing to get turned. Box, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, Bert, anything.
You ever
What's up?
feel like you got kind of like two, like there's the one part of you, you got that internal monologue that's going all the time, and you got to remind it sometimes it doesn't always need to be saying what it's thinking, and you can kind of process some of those things for themselves. And then sometimes you got that other little voice in there that's like a little like a kid, like about a 12 or 13-year-old kid that just feels like trapped and is like, hey, something is strange here, and you got to get me out.
Uh, no, no, not
No.
necessarily. No, but that's okay because
Okay.
Perrin probably does.
What?
Well, that's great. Oh, well, I'll ask Perrin then. Thank you. You've
Yeah,
been a lot of help. Thank
absolutely.
you.
Anytime, anytime.
Hey, Perrin!
Right.
What does the party want to do? Are you staying here to have conversations? Are you going to go start exploring Novalore?
I kind of like us all just.
I mean,
casually walking
One
in
of
the
the
water.
reasons we were going was to go find the library to help with the thing, right? With the thing, and she's just pointing over at Bert. This guy's just a homebody. Like he's probably got some sort of library, right?
Oh, yeah.
What else are
And
you
he's
gonna do
probably
here?
super old, right? So he probably has a ton of books.
I don't know. Ask Atticus. Apparently everyone's super old and we don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, what's
I
the
don't
deal?
know.
I'm not super old.
I don't know who did get in the hot tub and who did, but if any of you did got out of armor, got in that, or however you did it, I will say that there are a large amount on the kind of the exit. Again, that's like you're in this tiled room. The tub takes up most of it, but as soon as you kind of take those rough-hewn stone steps out, right next to the door, there are a bunch of robes that are all just kind of lined up right there, each with their own little monograms next to the door. There are robes with a little monogram that just says sub, and then a bunch of other monogrammed robes that just say dom on the robes. So
Oh, look
if
at
anyone
these nice
needs a
robes.
bathrobe,
Do you think it's like short for some of his friends, like Dominic? This one must be for Dominic, right? And do you think we could borrow them?
Like a Sebastian, yeah,
Yeah,
Fado.
yeah.
Sebastian and Dominic.
He really has a
Oh,
lot of
absolutely.
friends with the nickname of Dom for some reason, but
Dominic,
Cletus is going to come over
Domino.
right next to you, Fauna, and Cletus slips on a robe that says sub. And just
Oh, God.
Fauna is grabbing one that says Dom, even though she has no idea what
All
that
right,
means.
well, you all have fun.
make a perception check on Cletus real quick.
Me?
Yeah.
Um, uh, 23. Sorry, I just
Oh my God.
forgot how to do math for a second.
You see Cletus watching you put the robe on, and you can't help but see a little, just a little kind of gives himself a little smile and a nod, and is going to walk out of the.
I feel like Fauna blushes a little bit, even though she doesn't really know why. Like she just gets a vibe that's like,
Yeah.
All right, well,
Don't.
I got some thinking to do. I'm gonna go
Got some
wander.
drinking to do.
Well, if you need,
Atticus, you want
if
me
you
to
need
come with you, or what?
You know what? Bertless, Adder,
What the fuck
Bert.
is going on with you?
Well, that's what I was just telling you. You know, when you got the one, the internal mind, and then you got that other one that's like a kid, maybe 12 or 13 years old, and he just is like,
Right.
you got to get me out of here.
I mean, Perrin, I, and when we were all crammed in that hut in that random hallway,
Right.
I believe I told you,
Oh, right. Fuck, your kid that's gone, but is a frog, but isn't Bert, but he's a different Bert inside of Bert. Do you want hair? That'd help.
Hold
And
on.
digs through his bag, and he
Hold
finds like
on.
a squirrel pelt and starts whittling it into shape.
Attic,
Roll for toupee.
I've got that kid.
All right, Bert, let's go take a
Aaron
walk.
plops the squirrel pelt on his head and ties it under his chin.
Yeah. Is this
There you
replacing
go,
the
bud.
cowboy hat? It's now just sort of like a Daniel Boone.
Oh, he puts the cowboy hat back on it.
Atticus is about
There's
to
a
have
lot
the
of
"you're
headwear
my
for a frog.
stepchild, but I don't love you any different" type conversation.
Hey Vox, you want to hang back for a second?
What? Vox is just like fully just embracing being in a bubble bath hot tub.
Yeah, I know you're in a rush, but if you just want to stay in the bath for a minute, I just want to chat for a second.
Okay.
Is everyone else leaving?
I mean, yeah, Cletus is going. Cletus is just going to kind of maybe. I mean, if Fauna's just wandering around, like Cletus might just try and hang out with Fauna. The cat
Yeah,
is
I
leaving
think
too.
Fauna went to look for the library. I'm not really sure why she took the robe. It just seemed cozy, I think. But she's
Yeah.
wearing the robe, but also she is not going to the bath. She's just going to look for the
Perfect.
library.
I think
And then where
Perrin's
is
gonna
Nyx
try to catch. Yeah,
going
Perrin's gonna
with-
try to catch Nyx's eyes and do this towards Fauna and Cletus as they walk out.
Yeah, Nyx is very interested in the bath, but not while everyone else is there. So she was already planning on wandering and kind of gives Perrin a little, I got you, nod. And
Perfect.
I guess I'll go first. So, how you doing?
You're great. We are kind of in a hot spring, I guess. Good job on that. Got us close enough.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm still learning.
The door thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but this is not where I was trying to go.
Could have fooled me. We're in. This is not a hot spring. This is hot spring to me. So whatever.
I mean, it did work out. So before I was in a place, like a different place, and you were there. Everyone was there,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was like just a different version of you that liked Balak, I think.
Are you sure this is not just like a drunk nightmare that you had? Because you were speaking pretty crazy, even for you.
Aaron rolls his sleeve back where Vox stabbed him, and it's still like scabbed over.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a good idea to give this to you, but and Perrin takes out the one dagger he took of the Black Terror. So I don't know if this is gonna do bad things. Like, I didn't ask a lot of questions, but other Vox had this. She had a bunch of them.
You mean like mine that you already gave me? Thank you for all the weapons, by the way.
Yeah, no, this is like a way. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome. Like, this I think is a good dagger. All those ones are pieces of shit. This is a real one.
I'm only a little offended that you called all my daggers pieces of shit, but thank you, Perrin, for...
Well, no, those are all good, but they're like pieces of... whatever, I don't know. And he hands
Yeah,
it-
okay.
He hands the dagger over.
Thank you.
Vox, give me... Actually, give me both. Give me an Arcana check and an Insight check.
Hmm. 17 for the Arcana. And 14 for the Insight.
Okay. With the 14 on the Insight, immediately, like, once you take the dagger, you have, just for a fleeting moment, that same sense of connection that you had to Nyx, when threads were crossed, like in that other realm, and you were all waiting in No Blossom Falls, outside of the path that Fauna took, you just for a moment feel that deep, intense connection again. You feel a little bit of a in here. You don't get anything else on the insight check. On the Arcana check, you look. Remind me too, for the dagger, Perrin, what was the which one was it? Did we determine that, right?
It was 8 or 10.
Okay.
Give me 8 and Earl.
I could pull it up real quick and find
Q's gonna check it real
Okay.
quick. She's got the page.
I might have it actually right here too.
It's eclipse or death.
Yeah. Yeah, 8 is eclipse, 10 was death.
Yeah, I think it was the eclipse, but I'll hold on. Let me check my actual.
If
No.
you don't have notes on it and you think it was 8 or 10, I'm willing to give you, 10 is the bigger, more important one.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give you the 10. If we don't know which one it was for sure.
Yeah, I don't have that written, so I guess.
Yeah, make it death. Make it number 10. I like the flavor of that more. The Arcana check that you get, it is just so on the blade again. These daggers are just kind of this, this we said it and then I forgot the name of that black, but that matte black that is darker than
Fanta.
Yes, thank you, Fanta black. In the actual flat of the blade on this dagger is just kind of carved this it almost appears to be suspended, but just a very gaunt skeleton. Just a little simple embossing of it into the blade. Looking at the bottom of the hilt on the pommel, you see a family crest. And I think that you would recognize the family crest. There were a few belongings that your mother had. And they were things that she really didn't talk about a lot. They kind of kept stored, but I think one time going through stuff in your mother's room, you found a small bound but lock on it. You were never able to find the key to open this little book, but on the back, same crest. And it is just a single kind of craggy tower. I want to be, it's not the Dreadspire. You wouldn't recognize it as that tower.
Yeah.
I think for Vox, it would be a tower, it's unfamiliar. It's not a tower you've ever seen, but it has a very distinct kind of craggy top. You see that same little, what seems to have to be a family crest on the bottom of this. And I think even on the 17, this thing is definitely magical. And it is, you feel linked to it in a way, but it feels like a lot of birthrights, it feels like something that you can choose to step into or not. But there's a lot of weight to it, I will say that.
I don't understand. It feels wrong and right, and this emblem, this crest, it looks so like one that I've seen before.
Yeah. I mean, other Vox had. She was
worse.
She was kind of scary, to be honest, but really stabby. Way stabbier.
Anyway, I don't know if it's a good idea, but you should have it.
And I'm glad we met, and I have your back. So if you feel anything wrong about that knife, just let me know. Cause
Yeah. I'm glad we met and glad you're back and handled the door thing. Seems good for you.
yeah, it's complicated still, but I feel better.
Good.
Vox, roll me. Ooh, what kind of check would this be? I think I'm gonna call it an investigation check because it's putting pieces to it's putting pieces together. There's been a lot that's gone on, really within the last 24 hours. And I think it's fair to give you a check on this. So give me an investigation.
That's
check.
a 27.
Oh fuck. Which was that how high was that on the die?
I was at 18, but I have a +9.
Yeah. Oh, that is high enough. I'm gonna give you everything. You are looking at Perrin. You just had this discussion of coming back and talking about your relationship with. We've established it's been almost a couple months now total since you all met, and time gets a little bit wobbly, certainly in the Dreadspire. But I think over a month we've said in canon. God, on a 27 investigation, you think back when you got that bowstring for the gifts, you got the name of the entity, which was key to. There was also that little vial of pink sand.
Yes.
And you remember the note with it that said "reveal in flame."
Oh, I got this thing. It's this little vial of pink sand, but it does say your name.
The sand does?
That's what it did, right? It said Perrin's name.
I think it might have had Perrin's name on it, but it also had a thing that said "reveal in flame." And on a 27, I'm just going to outright give it to you. You connect because you've seen Atticus do this a couple times now, where the sword is stuck into something, burns and reveals a truth about that thing. You think in order to know whatever secret the sand holds, you can use Atticus's sword.
Use Atticus's sword in the... Oh. Okay. I will remember that. Because Atticus is not in this room, and
Nope.
What is Vox?
Vox just says she has something.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Well,
All right. So it's
Cool. I didn't need a present.
It's thank you.
All right. Well, I guess I have something for Atticus, so I'm gonna go find him. Okay, bye. And apparently.
So awkward.
Tell me, so Perrin, you're gonna go try and find Atticus and Bert. Vox, are you staying here? Are you gonna go try and explore something else? Or are you gonna go try and track down Nyx and Fauna and Cletus?
I think that she's gonna get out, dry herself off, and then probably head also towards Atticus, but follow a little bit behind Perrin.
Cool. Okay. We're going to switch over to Fauna, Cletus, and Nyx as the three of you. I can't remember. Was Fauna looking for anything specific? Was it library?
The library.
Library, yes. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Both you and Nyx can, and Cletus is going to make one too, and we will take the highest. It's I think you have all the time in the world to do
Oh,
this.
it's not going to be me. I rolled a 2. I don't even know what my modifier is. That
Cletus
is
got
low.
a
Yeah.
14, but I know his investigation is not high.
I only got 8.
Okay.
So
Scott, it might be Cletus then. Hold on, let me look up.
he's tall, so he can, see further.
It's a 14. It's just a flat 14.
I would like to correct that. I feel like as a very tall person, I miss a lot
You
of
can't
things.
see
too far away.
too tall.
Especially if they're on the ground. 14, yeah. I mean, the library is pretty big here. As you are going through this space, Fauna and Nyx, you for the first time kind of outside of the, there was no real windows. It's, both kind of a bathhouse or a hot tub and a sauna. So it's locking all that steam in. But as you begin to walk these massive hallways of Novalore, of this manor, you realize almost everywhere you go, including the hallways, are just these massive, massive windows. Not paneled, so they are, your investigation checks are high enough with Cleta. Go ahead and give me perception checks too.
24 again.
15.
Cool. You're definitely going to be able to see this with those checks. This glass almost seems like it's there by magical means. I mean, there's no real panels in it. So in the rooms, the hallways that are in, it's just these enormous, unbroken panels of glass. It's almost like every room in this house is a solarium. And you can see outside, beautiful, beautiful blue, pristine waters surrounding on all sides. You are on this vibrant green island. Fair amount of vegetation, but it almost looks like it's overgrown in a way that seems intentional, like almost maintained. Wildlife outside, you see herons swooping down, catching fish out of the lake. The lake is big enough that I think that no matter what direction you look in, you can't actually see the shore from here. So you are just on this green island in what is almost like the entire house almost seems to be a solarium. It is well lit as if it was broad daylight. The exception being that you cannot find the sun in the sky. You don't see the sun out of these windows.
Do I know that it is actually daylight?
Your perception check, would tell you that, this is daylight. Either
Okay.
one of you can make me an Arcana check if you want to also.
Mm.
15
14
again.
Okay. It's daylight. Something strange is going on, but I think your suspicions would be less that something strange is going on in the natural world and more that there's something peculiar or unique about this house.
Is the sun vampire thing a thing in this? Like, would we know that was a vampire trope or no?
You would, because you fought Mira. Yeah. You
I
would
can't
know
remember
that's
what-
definitely a
what-
thing.
Our checks actually got us, though, for knowledge on vampires with that. Because I know we did checks.
You did checks before and it didn't get you the sunlight. Or, no, I think it might have gotten you the sunlight thing. Regardless, when you fought Mira, sunlight clearly had an effect on Mira.
What about
so
water,
I think that would
though?
have established the canon. I don't think water was established. I think Perrin might have
'Cause if
tried.
so, Nyx
Perrin
would
might
have
have
a
tried
lot
to
of
do something
issues.
with piss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I
something
think
like
I-
if they can't regenerate if they're in running water, or something to do with running
I
water.
think I'll say that you did learn that about them too. So then there is also the curiosity of
Then
why.
Vix is like, why is he just jumping into a hot tub?
Well,
I feel like I remember
I
it
will
has to
say
be like
if
running
it's small
water.
enough, it
this.
has to be running water, not just water.
So like a still pool. There's no
like
jets in the hot tub.
There were no jets in that hot tub for certain. There
So
weren't
it's
even
probably
any
fine.
like channels that brought in the water. So, I mean, probably hand
I'm
filled
concerned
somehow.
given how many sex parties he throws now. Vox has that in
Very
her
dirty
hair.
water.
But who knows? He has mentioned help, so maybe he just has an entire like cabal of people that empty out the hot tub every day.
I think Nyx is kind of just following along behind, like a respectful, like 2 steps behind Fauna and Cletus. They have that like kind of tired chaperone look, somewhat paying attention to like their surroundings and where they're going, but also have pulled out a cake making book? I have it in my notes. The books that I got from that
Was it
library, and they're kind of
cookbook,
just
I think, on
finally having
cakes,
the moment to aimlessly like flip through it, and keeping an eye out, like one eye ahead, but also just almost for the 2 lovers ahead, like giving them privacy, or at least
Do we
the
know Nyx is following
of it.
us or
They're not
like,
trying to hide it.
are you
They're
stealthing?
They're,
Oh, okay.
No, they're right behind you.
Okay.
Cool. The cat's gonna look up at you, Fauna, at a certain point too, and hey, I smell something weird, and I'm not big on libraries. Is it cool if I just go back to that spot that was like? I'm just gonna go lay. I know there's no sun, but it feels like sun. I'm just gonna go lay like out in the thing and find me when there's food.
Okay, just be careful. I mean, we don't really know anything about this place yet, so keep in touch, you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you if I find anything weird while I'm taking my nap.
Okay, and give him a little scratch before.
The cat's gonna scurry away. Cletus, walking a little ahead, kind of like stopping every now and then to make sure that he's not getting too far ahead of you, like just far enough that if he put his hand back, it would probably like brush yours. He's going to look ahead, looking for the library, right? I think. I mean, maybe there's multiple. This is a big house. My house is big, but this place is something else. I think it might be here.
Okay, like Fauna just like opens the door. If there's a door.
Yeah, there's just kind of these it was cracked a little bit, but you open these massive double doors into just a large, almost tower. Starts at the base level, but there's kind of a spiral staircase that goes around the outside of this thing. You're in about a 50 by 50 foot room covered with books. Just like floor to ceiling. It goes about 4 stories up.
Are there any of those rolling ladders? Fauna just immediately Beauty and the Beast it.
Go ahead and tell me, you're in this library. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Nyx is gonna. Is it sorted by author or by title? Or subject?
It looks to be sorted more by subjects and also perhaps by time, like chronological.
Okay. Nyx is gonna start searching for. Just going through for Erebus. Just scanning titles, scanning.
Cool.
Anything.
Yeah, Nyx, give me an investigation check, and then what's Fauna looking for?
I forget why we were trying to find the library. Was it to help Bert?
There
was something specific we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're looking for the library. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I don't remember there being something else.
Fauna would try to find something related to that. So anything related to like spirit transfer or like polymorph gone wrong or like anything that would like explain what is happening to Bert.
I think Fauna this like research when it comes to like having a library would not necessarily be. So instead of an investigation check, you give me an Arcana check. Or you could we could call this an insight check too, like something that is using your intuition almost to go to the right section.
Can I roll again for that one?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Actually, I rolled a 3.
Cletus is going to give you advantage too.
Okay.
On this because Cletus is sticking with you.
I got a 16 on mine.
Okay. On a 16.
Wait, did you say insight?
Yes, insight.
Okay. I got dirty 20.
Okay. Nix, on a 16, you don't find anything specific. It's a big library to go through. There is a lot here. Even just kind of like quickly thumbing and browsing through, like, you know, you could make it in an hour. You could make it through maybe like 10% of this place. So you really are just sort of like being like, oh, it's maybe this era and maybe, so you're not able to cover a lot of ground to look for this specific thing. On a 16, let me look actually at my timeline thing of interest.
I think also, just while you're looking at that, while Fauna's looking for the thing to help Bert, like she would be conscious of who was in the room with her. So like if she happened to come across anything that she thought Nyx would be particularly interested or Cletus would be particularly interested while she was looking for the other stuff, she would be like, oh, hey, like you might like this, you know?
Okay, awesome. Then in that case, if you're kind of like looking in general, in addition to that insight check for intuition, make me an investigation check too on top of that.
If I don't find anything, on Airbus. I think all this talk of birthdays and how old people are, I don't think Nyx remembers their birthday or knows what it is. It was never
really, how long
or
ago?
even celebrated. It was never a subject that came up. It was never something that was important.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they know how old they are, only that they have been around for a very long time. Time changes around them, without them. I think they're going to start looking in the beginning of those histories and see if what they can find.
Nyx, you don't find anything on an Erebus. You do see that there are like quite a few books here on you find one book in particular that is like a chronology of like vampires. Starts with you see at the top kind of like almost branching out begins with just, there's no name written on it, there's just a portrait of a woman, very pale skin, long white hair, very, very long bridge of the nose. These piercing eyes that aren't red, but almost like an icy blue. Like you can almost feel their coldness through the page in this illustration. Wearing a long robe that ripples almost like, looks like the color of very clear but dark water. Like as you see, when you look down and you start to lose vision at about like 10 to 12 feet. Just that dark rippling blue. And just the name Lenore. And then from there, everything else branches out. And then you see after it branching out, begins to condense again. Until there are only a few names here at the bottom left. One of them, you do see the name Vladimir Thacuul written in. And another one that you see written at the bottom is Miravalis. and it looks like in that entry there is a little small branch off of Miravalis' name, like there were more members about to be put in, but those have not been entered. The book, like the date on this book looks like...
This might have been a fever dream. Was there something about Mira being pregnant?
There wasn't something necessarily about mirror failure. It was something that only Vox knew. It was like a
Okay.
it was like a thing.
Okay,
that
never
Vox
mind
did.
then.
Yeah, it wasn't a reference made. There is one other thing that you find specifically, but I'm gonna get to. So Fauna's, Fauna, you got a 20 on your insight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the investigation?
Nat one.
Okay. You are looking through books. You're not really finding anything that relates to anyone else, but something is pulling you. It's telling you, and you find this strange little... It doesn't match a lot of the bindings of the other books. This almost looks more like a journal. Like, a lot of these books are very well made and well kept. This one, not that it's not like a scraggly book. It just looks like the entire thing is handwritten. None of this was pressed. None of the end. It looks to be very, very old. There are some very old books here, so it's certainly not the oldest one, but it is a lot older than most of them. It's a different size than all of the others. It's a lot smaller. You pull it out, and as you begin to look through it, it has... This just seems like it's someone's journal. Maybe not a daily journal, but more like details of their findings around certain things. And you see that some of these, like, you know, it's written like, we discovered, or I discovered such and such about this. And then it will kind of almost ramble on in that tone of like, and that led me to think about this, this, and this. And this is, so a lot of it is just kind of used because it's from this very first person perspective, almost like keeping notes for themselves, but also just kind of like it is spilling their emotions a little bit and feelings about this. So it's kind of like hard to make sense of without the context of who this person is or what they were experiencing. You get to some of the final pages. And the one that catches your interest is one of the last dates found on there is written fairly recently, and it mentions sorry, I said fairly recently. Scratch that. Not fairly recently. I'm trying to like organize timelines right now. It is quite some time ago. But it is talking about getting other, like the what would be the right word, like the progeny of other vampires, like essentially like talking about other vampires and their children. And you know, it mentions some, but you don't recognize any of the names. It mentions a lot of specific names and like how their families are increasing and getting greater in number. And one of the last things written here is that I'm nearing what would be necessary to create the Erebus Infinitia. You find the word Erebus. I think as soon as you find that, Fauna, like, there's a lot more writing after that. This is exactly what you need. Also, like, reading a lot of books and going through the information, not Fauna's like not something you're super excited about. So finding this, you like quickly like fold over the page so you can find it again. And as you like excitedly begin to get down the ladder with a nat 1 on investigation, you like go to Cletus looks over to you. You found something over there? And getting off the ladder, you drop the book into a large puddle facing down on the section that you just marked. And it hits into the water. Oh, God. Hold on. Let me get that for you.
Oh no.
Oh, ink's a mess on this thing. Man.
I think that might have been information that would have helped us.
What? Oh, right on these pages? What did it say?
I'm so clumsy.
No, hey, no, you're not. Listen, I mean, it's weird. There's just a puddle. We got it. It sounds like this Vladimir guy has help. You know, puddles in a library. You got to get someone on that.
Yeah, that does seem like a bad idea. But it said something about an Erebus.
Yeah. Okay. What section did you find it in? And Cletus is going to come back over to your section and I think starts helping you go through other books, but you can't find anything else on it. Before we finish the stuff in the library and I hop over to Atticus, Nyx, I will tell you that you do find one last thing. On your 16, as you are looking for, your mind starts to wander a little bit as it does, like when you have a certain task and none of, like, especially when it comes to research and none of those topics are cropping up. And as you are thinking back, let me make sure I'm on the right. Nope. That's it. You find an entry. Mostly seems to be like a historical log of events very, very early in the history of Namira, dating back to before the Dread Age, which is the current age that you're all in. And it mentions the last known meeting of the courts. And as you start to read through, and it's like very historical and clinical, it looks like probably like information passed down by scholars from other books. So in multiple translations and going through the like viewpoints and lenses of multiple people, there's not a lot of terribly specific information. Like it's just sort of this general, it's like reading a very, very old history book. Like if you went back to, I mean, this is what, almost 2,000 years ago. So written almost more like myth than it would be incredibly factual. It speaks of how in this final meeting of the courts, the gathering was cut short and the courts dispersed because of the murder of a very important member of the Court of Flowers. And as you're reading about this, you're remembering at the same time, because you were there, the murder of Oracanthus. You see in this book, you know, it doesn't go into great, you're getting this memory trigger, so you have all these details flooding in of the moment and the panic of it all. I mean, you lost that bracelet that you ended up getting back. You remember seeing now, because the memories have returned, you remember seeing, although I don't know if you would have known him by this name, you did see Oricastris there, because he's a member of the Court of Flowers. And Nyx would know that with this memory. You remember him attending to his sibling just in absolute desperation as they passed away in his arms. And as the details of this come flooding back just with these few little sentences, you read the last sentence that the assassin was said to be a particular person from the Court of Night, which is why your family in particular had to leave so quickly because, oh my God, like our court, our family is attached to this. The name listed there is the Waning Knight. And Nyx, you think back, you only saw the Waning Knight a couple times, and after like you were placed in the locket and then in the care of the Waxing Knight until you were lost, you never saw the Waning Knight again after that. And no one really ever spoke of the Waning Knight either. They were a presence, it's hard to remember, but like in your earliest days of being in the court in the Nightlands, they weren't often there. They weren't really someone you asked questions of. When their presence, like when they were present, it was a very, they kept to themselves. Very dark, slender figure. The opposite of the Waxing Knight in the sense that like the Waxing Knight was pretty built and very like not just a strong appearance, but strong, like you could feel their presence when they were in a place, physically and energetically. The Waning Knight sometimes was even hard to pick out of a crowd. You could feel something sharp in the air when they were present. And that's all you find. We're going to cut over to Atticus. Where do you head with Bert?
Wait. Sorry, really quick
Yeah.
before you do that. Can I just, the book that I dropped, I want to take it, like pick
Cool.
it up.
You for sure
And
can.
even though, because like I feel like there might be more, I didn't really like read it all. So I think there might be something more. So I'm going to pick it up.
Cool.
And then next time we see Vlad, I'm going to like ask him if I can borrow it.
Cool. Perfect.
Atticus like didn't really have any place in mind, but wherever they're walking, it just kind of goes to the point and is like, and look, Bert, like there's a lot going on. I know it's hard to wrap your head around, but
I know.
The presence of Atlas doesn't change how I feel about you at all. You're still my squire. We're gonna figure it out, and then with we can get Atlas back to who they're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be, then I got a brave squire and my son and an unstoppable team with that.
I appreciate that, Atticus. I really do. And I want you to know, if I could just be him, if I could give him back to you, Atticus, I would without hesitation.
Bert,
honestly,
Bert,
I'm as confused about it as anyone else.
I know it's been a lot to process, but it was never a question that you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So don't for a second think that I thought you were holding it onto it for whatever reason. This is just life, and life has a funny way of coming full circle in some ways. So, and he's gonna like kind of give Bert like a noogie on his helmet. And
at this point, not a helmet, a cowboy hat, and then like a pelt underneath that with a little like tail coming off.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, this is kind of gross. Yeah, we're all good, bud. Why don't you go soak in the hot springs?
That sounds real nice. Actually, I'm gonna get back in there. I'm gonna get in with the soap in some places. I don't think I've been a frog a long time. I don't think I've ever taken a bath. I've just realized, and I'm
glad you mentioned it because
you're
kind of stinky and
slime's kind of my thing when I was just a frog, but now I got clothes and I don't have to worry about the coating so much. It kind of
cleanliness is next to knighthood. Yeah.
Is that one of the tenets?
Oh man, yeah. Cleanliness is one of the tenets. I mean, you should be presenting yourself in a way that people know you come from a place of respect and
See me
it's,
before they smell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
That makes
and
sense.
also you wouldn't want to be in a situation where you're trying to sneak into a place full of evildoers and they catch your scent before they catch what you look like.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that. So unscented soap then, strictly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
all
if
right.
you're going to like a fancy event, then like some perfume maybe or
Bert
like
takes out a notepad and is
cologne.
starting to jot down.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
but,
is he drawing
you know,
pictures or is he writing words?
You can go ahead and look if you want. Bert's not hiding.
Yeah.
You don't have to make
Yeah,
a
I'll
perception
look.
check. It's just pictures. There's like flowers and a little frog and like a top hat. And
Remember to annotate those, Bert. You're learning how to read. Pictures are good.
I know
but
it's just so much quicker to do the pictures that
yeah,
make
that's why you
sense
just
instead
you
of
draw
the weird.
you draw the pictures and then
Yeah. All right.
then you draw little words above them, so
Okay.
you get the full picture.
Fancy hat. And
What did he write?
good soap. Fancy.
Is he writing that?
Yeah, fancy hat underneath the hat. Good soap.
All right.
Okay. Well, thanks,
Well,
Aggie. This is really helpful.
Yeah, I just need a little time to my lonesome,
Yeah.
and Atticus is gonna walk off and just kind of like find like a chair or something to like sit in, and he's gonna sit down and he's not saying anything, but Atticus' thought process is, oh man, like Vlad kind of viewed him as the bad guy in a situation where Vlad wasn't really that bad of a guy from what he could tell. And he's starting to think about that and starting to think in his past if he's done that before, and kind of trails off for a second, but comes to, and he remembers he has the mirrored knight helmet that was given to him. So he pulls it out and just kind of looks at it and starts thinking about his dad. And I think in this time he's trying to, he's like thinking in a kind of childlike moment, he's going to put the helmet on. He's going to put the mirrored knight's helmet on.
Ooh. Okay. Give me. Oh, what kind of check do I want this to be? It's a magical item, but it's a connection thing. Give me an Arcana check. I know you're pretty good at these now.
Yeah, and I also, I mean, I do have the skill. If I spend something, I can basically identify a magical property if I spend like 10 minutes with it.
Totally. Yeah. Go ahead and as you're doing this too. So actually, scratch that. I forgot you had that ability. You don't need to give me an Arcana check. You're communing with this thing. As you put it on, give me a perception check.
Perception. That's going to be a 15.
Okay. You put the helmet on. There is, when you look out of it, you can see everything. It's odd because looking at it, you can't see in this helmet at all. As soon as you put it on, you see everything out. It's perfectly visible. The weird way that this is shaped on the, like externally, we've talked about it before, but it's almost fractal in its way. It's not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical. So almost like a quartz crystal or something. It has all these different sections and kind of like comes to a peak on the top. It's very prismatic. But putting it on your head, you see it's shaped well to like fit on it. The interior of it is different. So you put it on, it doesn't feel awkward or uncomfortable, and you can see out perfectly. Without the rest of the armor, you don't feel any, like there's no magical effect that comes over your body. You feel an immediate, like this is missing, it's missing the rest of it. Something, and in that feels incomplete. Like it feels like the first few components of a spell, and then it's missing the last bit. Give me an insight check, though.
$19.
On a 19. It's not that you can see it out of the mirrored helm, but in your mind, an image becomes very clear. You see a man. Looks a fair amount like you. Longer hair, though, kind of like just down past his shoulders. A little bit thinner, scraggly, not well, certainly not well taken care of. A beard that maybe at one time was well kept, but is now kind of just grown beyond. It's a mess. Blonde hair, but a little bit darker than yours. And a very familiar face, because there are parts of it that you feel like you're looking at yourself, and other parts that you remember seeing when the helmet was removed for the first time in Asparia, and you saw the face of your father for the first time in almost 1,000 years.
Dad?
You say that, the voice, you say that and you feel it ring out, and you feel it just kind of reverberate in the helmet. The man sitting on a hill looking out over a valley, and you can see at a great distance, far in the hills, you can see Solasah. But he's looking at it. Atticus, you know Namira pretty well. Looks like maybe he's towards the bottom of eastern Namira, which there is some like higher vantage points there to where you can just barely glimpse Solasah on the horizon. But he hasn't crossed into the Solasah or the South Green. He's just kind of sitting there. You say that and the voice just reverberates in the helmet. But on that insight check, you feel his feelings, and you feel deep, deep confliction and incredible fear. Fear, Atticus, that I'm not sure you've... I think the one time that you felt this fear was the day that you lost Atlas. And you feel something very similar in your father right now, like as if there is this battle waging in him. You see him sigh deeply, stands up, and begins to slowly walk down and towards the South Green, towards Solasah. The vision fades. You're just back in the helmet now, like looking around the room. And out of the corner of your eye, you do, like, this is weird because you realize that if you focus on it, you can almost like see dim reflections of the things behind you too. Like it's almost like there's a crazy sort of almost 360 degree, because of the prisms of this helmet. It's almost like if you focus on it, you can see stuff that's behind you too, like refracted in the glass. And you just for a second catch a little red flicker behind you above the mantle. You kind of, right now, you just wandered into a room. You're in this big sitting room basically, but like I described to Nix and Fauna, like glass walls everywhere. It's like it's daylight outside, but you can't see the sun anywhere.
Yeah. Atticus is going to kind of take the helmet off and kind of look at his reflection in it and just kind of say to himself, is like, I wonder if we're all destined to become like our parents, whether we like it or not. And he's gonna put it away, and then noticing the flicker, he's gonna check the source of that. He thinks Vlad's spying on him while he's being vulnerable.
What'd you get on your perception check? You got a 15 or 16? Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
turn, head over to the mantle. There's a fireplace over here built into the wall, the wall that isn't windows. Above it, you see a few like ornamental things here. There's some like little brass statuettes. There's like a beautiful, beautiful dark wood backdrop that has been carved to this mantle place, where there's just there's this ornate filigree that weaves through it. It almost looks like historical in a way. Like you see different people, a lot of them is vampirish a word, vampiric, like very like kind of propping each other up, and and on the top where you saw that little red glint, you see a simple gold ring with this little almost fractal red quartz in it. It seems to it's almost transparent, and you can see a lot of facets in it that kind of go every which way, almost appearing like they're very, what would be the right word? Like very geometrical, but almost like some kind of a web, because of how much they crisscross each other. And certainly you can only do that identify thing once per day? Or is it,
I don't think
or do you just take 10 minutes? A limit. Yeah.
Just 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to spend 10 minutes with the ring that's up there, I can tell you exactly what it does. It's how identify works. The way that it's displayed seems to almost be a trophy. You can see above the ring is just a woman. It's hard in the filigree of the wood to determine a lot, but like long straight hair, long face, very long bridge of the nose, flowing dress, seemingly probably pretty tall compared to a lot of the other figures that are carved into this mantle place. And then in addition to that, underneath you see just kind of like almost like split, like the figure has just been killed. You do see a knight, some sort, and you could, God, give me a history check.
Hitting all of my proficiencies. I love it. That's going to be a 15.
On a 15, it's just hard. Like, they're figures carved into wood. And I mean that, like, even the largest one is, it's only so big. It's hard to make out details. But there is a knight. You can see, like, as if they've just been killed, like, lying prone. The ring above it, you spend 10 minutes. You are going to identify this ring. It appears to be displayed almost like, I think you would get the intent that like this appears to be some sort of trophy one, and you would assume from like the fallen figure that is beneath the other one. But this ring is a spell catcher. And I can send this to you later too, so you have the info, but it's an ornate brass ring set with a fractal red quartz. Any caster within eyesight of you, and that means a caster that can like see you. A caster must succeed at a wisdom saving throw. DC is 17, or suffer disadvantage when you are not the target of their spell. Any area of effect spell must be centered on you, and you can choose to take as much of the damage that other players would suffer during this attack as additional damage to yourself instead. So it basically lets you be like take it all even in an area effect, as much as you want to.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Atticus is like, oh fuck, like, I don't know. It's like it's like technically stealing, but he's gonna take very literal, like the my casa su casa mentality that Vlad had, and he's gonna put it on
Cool.
right next to his other ring, and he's like,
Awesome.
nice.
Okay.
Yep,
I think at this point, like Perrin, you would have tracked down Atticus.
Hey man, what's up?
With Vox shortly behind you. But before we get to that, do we want to take our break real quick? Do 10 and then we'll be back in 10? Cool. Let's do it. We'll go to break and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, and we are back. Yep, Perrin, you find Atticus standing next to the fireplace.
Is he still wearing the helmet?
I think you took off the
No,
helmet
it's
before you went over.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it off, but it's like in my arm. Like I didn't put it fully away. But he's leaning on the fireplace all somberly, like with his ass sticking out though, because you know he's that type of guy. He's just
Right.
that type of cowboy.
Dad issues, huh?
What? He turns around and he's holding the helmet like this. He's like, what makes you just say that?
It's just the vibe, just the general vibe you're giving off.
You know, back in the day, I thought when Cletus and I came and hunted down Vlad, we were doing a good thing, but you know, after talking with him, it kind of seems like I royally fucked up his life for a minute, and you know what they said back in that village, like he kind of said that he was like a chill guy. So like, I don't know. I don't. It's hard to put into words. It's I think we're destined to be at least like a copy of the people we come from, or it seems like my dad's a pretty awful person.
Well, I mean, potato, you know? I mean, not that your dad's a potato. He might be. I don't know. But, like, sometimes the people we come from are just the people we come from. It doesn't really mean we owe them anything, and we certainly don't owe them feeling shitty about things that we did that were mistakes. We just make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I guess more so the Atlas stuff too. I think it'd be nice to have. I mean, not necessarily my dad, but you know, I know my mom would have some sweet words for me and of encouragement and help me feel at least like I know what I'm doing or what I need to do to make things right.
What do you think? What do you mean make things right?
I mean, it feels like Bert wants to be Bert and feels bad about, you know, sharing a soul or a body with Atlas, and I feel like there has to be a way to, you know, make both whole, I guess, if that makes any sense.
When did you lose Atlas?
I mean, I say it's been so long, but I don't think you ever forget losing a child. But I mean, it feels like months ago, but it's been centuries, really.
Sorry to hear that. I didn't realize that you had any kids. It's hard to say goodbye. I'm kind of in the same boat right now, which is, well, I don't know if I've explained this, but Fauna has a sister that I also promised I would protect, and I didn't. So she's kind of cursed. Maybe dead. I don't know. I'm hoping to track her down, but I saw her recently. That was kind of the place I went. Was well, Fauna wasn't there, but Flora was there, and she was kind of, you know, I don't know, a little messed up, I guess, because I wasn't there for her. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say, I wish I had done something different, or when you don't know what that is. I just wish I had done anything different. But
I'm sorry you're feeling that, parent, and I mean, I understand that. It's like the thing of, you don't ever think about the alternatives until something horrible happens, and then you figure out every little thing that could have been changed just
Yeah.
to prevent something. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say, like, it's not your fault and you should never feel bad, but, like, don't beat yourself up over things you've done in the past, because the whole point is you're trying to be better. So, like, okay, fine, maybe you cut this guy's head off, but he doesn't seem that much worse off because of it. So maybe just focus on what you can do moving forward, you know?
yeah, I agree, and yeah, it's just, I mean, it's hard. It's a thing of you know, you view this, you know, my dad was a hero to me growing up, and, you know, heard about all these stories of them fighting these righteous and holy fights for the name of the Phoenix, and it all sounds like just like, you know, a little penny story you'd pick up at a bookstore about a knight saving the lands and things like that. And the reality of the situation is, I mean, I don't know what happened along the way, but I know Nyx is disgusted by them, or scared, or wants revenge against them. And, you know, it's I mean, my dad's put me into the dirt before in a battle and without me knowing, so it's hard seeing the person you looked up to and kind of based your entire personality and, you know, your heroism off of, only to see them become the thing you swore to fight, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. But maybe the thing you should get stuck on is not the person you thought your dad was, but the person you've chosen to be. And I think that person is a pretty good one. So as long as you're living up to your ideals about yourself, that's worth a lot more than some pretend childhood idea of who our fathers are. Because my father, I don't know. I don't know for sure who he is anymore. But I know that I'm trying to be more than just my childhood version of him.
Perrin, you say that, and just barely audibly next to you on your shoulder, where she usually sits, you just hear a little, like, very quiet. Amos just kind
Perrin.
of whistles to
Yeah,
himself.
Perrin kind of pats Amos on his shoulder. I've got something for you, Atticus. And
An
Perrin
early
pulls out-
birthday gift? How'd you know? I mean, I told you, but
Well, no, it's like, because it doesn't matter. So I've realized recently that I just kind of pick up things and take things constantly, but, like, I don't really think about them very often. But I actually have two things. I mean, I have this, and he holds up the cultist bird mask from Amago. That murderer guy was wearing this, and I put it on, and it was kind of terrible. But more
what
importantly, I
happened?
have I just kind of felt this presence, like just kind of a destructive, angry, evil, horrible thing. But I also found this, and he holds up the book about the Akron, and I flipped through it, and I noticed some references to the Phoenixes, to your family in here. I don't know what it
Yeah.
means. I just know that the combination of the two had some magical energy.
yeah, Atticus is gonna, you know, carefully take them, and would and he's gonna look at the book and kind of look up at Perrin, and Well, I mean, you want to learn more with me? I mean, I can decipher what I can from it.
Yeah, it's mostly primordial. I know we had spoken in primordial once or twice, so as long as you can read primordial too.
Yeah, that's fucking dad made sure that I knew that language as growing up. So,
Fucking dad.
yeah, he's gonna crack the book open with Perrin and kind of just open up to a random page and read what it says, or just kind of like skim.
Yeah. Give
and
me
see
an
what catches his eye.
investigation check with advantage.
Atticus is gonna ask Perrin in Primordial, how do you know Primordial? He's gonna go like, ooh, ga, ba, da, da, whatever Primordial sounds like in your world.
Rup, 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 zap, fam, wow.
Q, 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 do, Q, Q.
There it is.
That's a dirty 20.
Ooh, okay.
What Perrin says is he just knew some primordials when he was growing up. You don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but that's what he says.
Atticus. Dirty 20. You're looking through this book. It's not magical in nature. You do see a lot of, there's some rituals in here. There's a lot of, it's obviously occult, this book. It has a lot to do with creating a connection between an individual and some incredibly powerful entity. There's a lot detailed here in ceremony. You see that a lot of these ceremonies and entailing like connecting with this entity require enormous sacrifice of life. There's nothing. It's blood sacrifice or it's life itself. On a 20. There are a lot of, I think I detailed before too to Perrin that there are a lot of like personal writings in here too. So some of this stuff looks like there are multiple, it's almost like a handbook. There are multiple different, you can see lots of different penmanship here. There's been multiple authors to this thing and it's just kind of a compilation. See, towards the end, I described before there was that like series of just like scribble, like a shadowy figure on the pages that just the furious scribblings grow more and more intense and reveal the figure more towards the end, which at the end it is just, Atticus, it's the thing that you see. You can see in the darkness and in the smoke there's this skeletal, similar to the mask that Perrin's holding, but like much, he just feels larger. But in those hollowed out eyes, the skeletal bird head, the long beak. You can see now that what appear to be scribblings are really just like this thing being enshrouded with sickly black feathers. You do find one little scrawling at the end before you hit that succession of drawings. It says, "We must deliver the heir. With him, Akron." And I will mention, Atticus, this is the first time you've seen the name Akron mentioned anywhere. With him, Akron will ascend to his rightful seat of power, and we will inherit the world.
Akron.
You can make me a history check on the name. History check if you want on the
but
name.
I'm like, Perrin, does Akron sound familiar to you? Do you know what that is?
Nope, not really. I mean, it like kind of rings a bell, like 7 bells out of 20.
Vox, I think at this point you've entered for this you've kind of come into this conversation. I mean, unless
23
it's
on
something
history.
you're trying to hide. 23 in history. Okay. 23 is good enough to get you this. Atticus, you think about that name. Akron. heard it before. Ordbreak. When the city of Ord, the city built on a bridge, like one of the massive granite, much larger than Asparia is. The largest city really to have was ever known in Emira. It's ruins now. It's just referred to, like, not only the event, but now the site is also known as the Ordbreak, where the entire city, whatever it was, structural, like, there are a lot of different theories on it. Some say it was structural and that it was just too much built on this ancient stone bridge for the bridge to support it anymore over the chasm that it was above. You do recall reading or writing. Ord was the center of power for the Court of Flame, who deemed themselves the Court of Endless Flame at the beginning of, or a little before, actually, like the 100-Year War, which I think Atticus would know about too. It's kind of, we'll call it lore. Like, you don't have a strong historical because it happened so long ago. So, but a lot of different versions of the same myth have events that line up. And in reference, though, to the Ordbreak, you remember somewhere you read a document that said it didn't have anything to do with structural integrity. There was no architectural failing of the bridge to hold up the city. The Court of Fire, in a summoning ritual, brought something to this plane of existence that did not belong. And it called itself Akron. And they say that that was how Ord fell.
Yeah, Atticus is if I remember correctly, hey Vox, what's up? Sorry, if you heard us talking about daddy trauma, that's just what it is.
Oh, I mean, my dad's dead, so, also traumatized.
Well,
he was a good guy. He was a good man.
I appreciate that. When you're done with this, I need to talk to you while you're both here, by the way.
Yeah. Perrin. If I recall, Akron is the Church of the Court of Fire summoned something to Ordbreak, that called
like
itself
the nursery rhyme.
Yeah, I think yeah. Look, like you two are here. I've been traveling with y'all for quite some time, and I haven't been like super clear with all of you, but I believe, Perrin, what you saw is it might be Akron, and if the Court of Fire summoned this thing, this is also the thing that plagues the Phoenix family. I see it in flames. It haunts me. It taunts me. It tells me the South Green is going to burn. I think my dad might be worshiping it and in service to it in some way. It's the reason for my ability not to die. And in this book, it says it something to do with Atlas, or me being the heir to the Phoenix, or my son being the heir, that it's a missing piece for it to ascend to a different plane of power. And this is why I'm going home, because I intend to restore the honor of my house and destroy this abomination or this god or this extraterrestrial creature, whatever it is. And to be completely honest with you two, I don't think if I succeed, I think that's it for me. I think if I kill this beast, I'll save the South Green, but I go with it.
I mean, like, look, far be it from me to criticize somebody's plan to go down with the ship in service of, you know, feeling like you're whatever, doing the right thing. But like, we're pretty good at killing stuff. I'm sure we can figure out a good way to kill it.
I feel like there's always a second option. You don't need to go down with the ship. We've learned that that's a terrible idea.
No, I get what you're saying. Look, we killed a fucking fell spirit. Like, no one's done that since centuries ago. We're a great team. But I think my destiny is entwined with Akron, if it is Akron. Look, I'm a human. I'm not an elf. I'm not a creature that lives forever, but I have lived centuries. That is not normal. And I think what I'm trying to say is that we're two sides of the same coin. And if we take this thing down and its power ceases to be, so do I.
Hi Raiders, by the way. We didn't see that pop up, but thanks for coming. Stevie Mill Plays. It's
Thank
like
you.
I don't know, fourth or fifth time you've come by. Hi everyone. We're
I am
busy
being
in father
emotional.
trauma. We're deep in daddy issues right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
No.
Atticus, I hear you. Like, okay, fine. We'll figure it out. And if you need to go and that's the right thing to do, fine. Like, I trust you to make that call. I'm not going to take it away from you, but, look, I saw another you. I saw another Atticus. And he had his son, and he had everything he wanted, and he was kind of a piece of shit. Way hotter, though. Way hotter. But he was kind of a piece of shit.
Damn.
Did he like have like a cooler mustache than me, or like did he have a
Look, I don't want
beard,
you to
or,
get
like-
stuck on the details and like compare yourself. You don't need to do that. I don't want you to like compare yourself to this other better looking version of you. I just want you to know that he was a bad person. So like you could get everything you wanted and it might be worse. Or maybe there's a reason that I saw him, or maybe there's a reason there's some fucking wizard in a tower who kept bringing us back to life in that tavern. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a way around this. Maybe there's something that fulfills you exactly right.
I feel like you owe it to Atlas to at least try, right? You haven't even gotten him back yet.
Yeah, I do owe it to Atlas, and I owe it to Bert, and I owe it to all of you. I just hope you all know that if it happens, it happens, but I just want to let you know what you're up against and what might happen, but I feel like this is destiny taking its course, and I've been avoiding it for long enough, and I don't know, it's just what I'm thinking
Atticus,
about right now.
as you say that, you hear a single chime, all of you would, begin to ring out through the house. As that happens, the light begins to change. I mean, if you've been paying attention to it, it has been gradually growing more and more golden, as if the sun was setting, but again, you can't see a sun. And as this chime rings out, it is this purple golden glow begins to fill the sky. It's dusk, twilight. And as the chime rings out, you hear, walking down the hall, I think with Fauna and Nyx in tow, you hear Cletus's voice. Hey, Atticus, I don't know where you're at, but I think that's the dinner bell.
Whoa, is
I
this,
am
Is this a
starving.
bad time? The vibe is like real weird in here.
Yeah, what are you guys up to?
Oh, speaking of daddy issues, I have something for you, Fauna. And Perrin starts patting his pockets and like pulling stuff out. And then he reaches around and he grabs the bow that he found. And he's like, here.
Oh, a
I
present?
got this from you. Yeah, this is from when everyone was shitty. But like, not you guys, but like different versions of you.
Was I shitty?
No. You were a perfect angel. You were... Never mind. Forget about that. But here, I got this for you.
Oh, thanks. What
Fauna,
Atticus looks at
that
the
is
bow.
the orb weaver written on your
Yay!
sheet.
New weapon.
Yeah, Atticus.
Tell me about it. It's just a bow. Is it cool looking?
Yeah, it's
Atticus,
super cool.
Atticus is taking a look at it as it gets passed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm,
What do you see there?
hmm.
Can you look
I'm
at
gonna
this for 10
investigate
minutes?
I think, yeah, if you're all like walking out of here to get to the dining hall, we can flavor it as like, it's a big house. Doesn't take 10 minutes, but I think the idea of like we're gonna flavor it in the text, like you can figure it out by the time you get there. Atticus, you are looking at this longbow beautifully carved out of this dark, kind of like almost ebony wood. There are small slots kind of in the side of this bow that almost look as if like spherical in nature, like little half shells that you could perhaps place something into. Nothing looks like it's been forced or pried out of it, necessarily. As far as identifying what it is right now, you get the sense that it is meant to... This thing was built to channel magic. I think the effects of that for you, Fauna, would be that it is... Functions 2 is just like a +1 magical longbow. So that's already included in those attack and damage rolls. Hence the range 2, so it's... The orb weaver is a longbow, so now you have a cooler weapon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In addition to that, Atticus, you know, it's assuming that you're relating all this, but the technical side of that would be, at least for now, that when you can, the same way that the cat can be an origin point for a spell, one of your spells, these arrows can also be an origin point for one of your spells. So therefore extending the range to, like, if you had an area of effect spell that like the range was only 60 feet, you could fire the arrow, and then wherever the arrow hit on a successful hit of a person or a thing, it would do the arrow's damage, but you could also put the spell in it. The difference being, like, you know, you'd still have to spend the action to cast this, like, cast that spell, and then another action to it, so that would take you 2 actions. But yeah, you can channel, or no, sorry, I said that wrong. The way that I made it is that you would get the arrows damage and then the spell. So you can, if you want to, and it's just 1 action. It's not 2 actions. So it's 1 action. You can choose the attack action, but channel a spell into that arrow being fired. And so you also get the arrow's damage.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's super
Yeah,
cool,
it's
especially
pretty cool.
for like spells that are like a 5-foot radius around you. You can now.
Now that you're done looking at that, Atticus, can we look at this sand?
What?
That's what I was trying to give you and Karen.
Show and tell Atticus
Damn.
time.
Atticus like hands the bow, and he's like, "Yeah, it's weird. There's like a carving that says HD in it and hands it off to Fauna. But yeah, cool. That's cool as shit. What about sand?
Yeah, it was given to me from those kids at No Blossom. It's got parents' name, and this is gonna sound weird, but I just know
I'm not their dad.
your sword.
Okay.
I don't believe you now. Anyways,
Yeah,
feel
the way
like
the way you
yours
said that like makes me think you are.
are their dad,
Nope.
right? I feel like
For sure.
I don't believe it. Anyways, the flame of your sword it needs flame, and I think that's the way. And again, this was given to me by a bunch of kids, so I have no clue what it does. So, and if anything goes wrong, that is not on me. Don't shoot the messenger.
I mean, if kids gave it to you, it's probably just gonna smell bad. That's the joke.
Atticus like pops it and gives it a sniff real quick. Yep.
Give me a perception check.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Pink sand. You've never seen pink sand anywhere before. Except for a desert on the second floor of a tower. The smell reminds you of that desert.
I'm getting, I don't know why, but like when I smell it, I'm thinking of stilettos
Oh,
on like
Betsy?
I mean, Atticus like pours it into a neat pile on the ground and is like, well, sticks the sword in it. Channels that memory sense.
Cool. I'm gonna flavor that you're kind of doing this like at the dinner table while you're waiting. So as you're prepping this, you kind of like you hear a lot of bustling around in the kitchen, and at this long dining table again, like all kind of it's all glass. So like left, right, and above you, like it's kind of all glass in this room, and it's this beautiful twilight shining down, gorgeously set table, like beautiful kind of. Just porcelain plates rimmed with like there's little gold filigree, gold flatwares laid out, kind of like encrusted chalices across the table, immaculately set. Vladimir's going to kind of like poke his head out from the kitchen in the other room. You hear a lot of shuffling going on. Well, just be 1 minute. Dinner's so close to being ready, friends. The help will get it out on the table. I will make sure everything is done well. Just give me a few more minutes, and
I really don't like how you just called them the help. I wish they had names. It feels like you're dehumanizing them.
Atticus, you are putting your blade into the sand. All of you are going to see reflected in the blade a moment. Kind of is, as Atticus, your blade is large, so it's almost like this little screen that everyone is just sort of getting to watch this like faint image be played out on. It's everything kind of has this pinkish hue, because as you do this, like the sand kind of starts to begin to swirl up and almost like film grain, like in front of the image on the sword, and just kind of adds this pink hue as well. All of you would see Perrin and Vox traveling through the sands of this desert. And the moment that you see in particular, Perrin, everything that you see is something that you remember well. Vox, everything that you see in this image, like your memory of this from your viewpoint, you didn't get everything that you're seeing now, which is that in this little scene that you are all watching, you lose your footing off the edge of this dune and start getting sucked down into this sand. And as you're getting buried, you look to Perrin for help, and in that moment, like, you see a moment of hesitation, and you see yourself very quickly just being lost, like swept away and under in that. The thing that you never saw that you see now revealed in the scene is Perrin tying the rope to himself and diving in after you. And he doesn't come back up. You do. You were saved by... God, please don't make me remember this guy's name. It was like over a year ago. You were saved by that traveler through the desert that had Betsy the camel, is used to seeing things like this, wanders those sands, and you were swept far enough away, like pretty far away from Perrin too, by the way that these sands were shifting. He was able to see you and fish you out. But you see a moment that you were not aware of and that Perrin never shared with you.
We're all sitting at a dining table?
Yeah.
I think that Vox would just reach out and just gently pat Perrin's hand.
I think Perrin's just gonna yeah, right, that's what happened.
Well, at least I can stop giving you shit for leaving me to die in the desert. God, I was really hoping that desert was not here.
Get you out, though.
I think this brings up a really important question, actually. What is the best level to put a desert on? I disagree that it's level 2 of a castle. I think it needs to be an odd number.
It's the 9th. No questions.
Yeah, expected. I've got to agree. I think a 9th level would have been better. I spent weeks there, and the 2nd level, it wasn't great.
Weeks? That sounds like an unlucky 13 to me.
Oh.
7th are for Arboreums. Anyways, friends, thank you for coming very much. The meal I present to you now. And you see Vladimir steps out for a second to sort of bow, and then quickly steps back into the kitchen. Fuck. I wish I had the dice cam set up, but I'm not setting it up until next week. I just rolled a nat 1 on his disguise check. And so what you see is Vladimir steps back out into the kitchen. You hear a little bit of rustling around, and then you see what is clearly Vladimir Thacuul with a bad fake mustache and a hastily thrown on dinner jacket come out with kind of hiding behind the trays that he's bringing out, and begins to set them down at the table, and then quickly runs back, covering both sides, runs back like this to the kitchen, brings out and does this. Takes him about 2 minutes, one at a time, to get these all out here, and then you hear he goes back in another scrub. Just be 1 minute. You're just checking on one last, and then you hear.
I feel like we all stare silently as he goes in and out for 3 minutes.
I
Atticus
see
is just smiling
you
like
all
this.
met. You all met.
The help.
The
Yes.
help. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful.
Thomas is the best. If you need anything for the rest of the evening for your dinner, feel free to just call out to Thomas. Thomas.
I just wanna-
Oh, not now. No, Thomas. You're fine. You're fine.
Do I have the pronunciation correct? It's Thomas the Help.
Thomas the help, yes. Thomas or Thomas the... Either one will do, really. But let me sit and enjoy this dinner with you that has been prepared to each of your likings. I know, Atticus, you have that terrible allergy to shellfish. I know everyone
I love
else is...
shellfish.
Oh, shit. Well...
It's okay. It wasn't your fault. Thomas just got the plates mixed up.
I just assumed.
Yeah, we can delete it.
Phoenix,
Yeah,
it come ahead for the South Green. It's It's my fault. I will correct it immediately and make sure you are not missed on the lobster dish. Thomas, did you hear that? The lobster. Yes, when the time comes. Okay, yes. Please, as a host, I enjoy your meal. You're here at a beautiful time of day in Novalore. This is one of our favorite times here, the changing of the day into the night. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I actually have dinner conversation actually topic actually. Maybe you can enlighten us on it. While traveling through this area, we heard about a king of some sorts, like a trash king or something like that.
The trash king. Make a little history check. I've not heard of a trash king. Is it in this area? The shores of I'll tell you right now, without an express invitation from me, not many people come out to visit Novalore. It's kind of, it's honestly, Atticus, I'm not sure how you found it the first time.
I thought you said you get a lot of guests here.
The Filth King.
Well, on my invite, yes, but just randomly stopping by is a long way out into the middle of a lake to find a house that, shall we say, is been kept somewhat of a secret in the Mira.
But we did use a portal.
Yeah. Atticus, what did you say?
Not Trash King, Filth King, I think was the right. The Filth King.
That sounds like a kind of guy that would come to your kind of parties.
Yes, you're not wrong there, friend. I have seen some absolutely filthy things at these parties.
And Vlad, I got to apologize because I'm recalling why some pretty redhead in some tavern told me that there was a abomination haunting Lake Lenore and lived on the island, and he was just very cute and had very green eyes, and I think as a knight I gotta do that.
Look into it, of course. It's in her nature. Of course, I know all about things that are in our nature, friend. Let me. No filth king, never, not at a party. Since the last time I had a party, I've had but one guest, an honorary librarian who sent me a very kind request and came here for research purposes. What was his name? George something.
Journeyman. You met the journeyman.
No, that's not it. I know of the journeymans. Never have they been invited to this place in Novalore. I will not have that clod stomping around in my house. George, I cannot remember the last name. Certainly, the man was very kind and clean, kept to himself.
What was he trying to research?
That I would research. I asked him the purpose of his researching. It was very specific too. He thought there were documents here or something that starts with an Erebus, he said.
Oh, that actually reminds me, not at all related, but I found this book in your library. Could I borrow it from you?
Of course, it's no problem. You talk to Thomas and he will get you set up with a library card for Nova. It's
okay,
no
great.
problem.
Thank you.
Guests borrow books all the time.
Very, very much related. Do you have research on the Erebus?
The Erebus, I have to be honest, I am not the librarian. You would want to talk to Thomas for that. Thomas runs most things here. It's when it comes to the day-to-day operations, I kind of like to keep my hands free.
I would actually like to talk to Thomas. There was a puddle in the library that caused some
a puddle?
Unfortunate damage to the book that Fauna here is trying to.
The fucking construction.
I had to admire the architecture though as I was walking through.
We've been going through a bit of construction recently here in Novalore, and I'm sure it was an oversight.
It's all good.
Yes, I'll have a talk with
your hospitality.
I'll have a talk with the foreman personally and make sure that
Yeah.
Thomas sees to the
Must be some
library.
powerful magic keeping this place up.
Worries. Atticus is gonna see what
Little-
Vlad made for him.
He's a real yes. Say it one more time.
Oh, Atticus is gonna open his dish to see what was made for him.
Perrin is pouring wine.
It is. Oh, I actually didn't make a. It's pretty good. It is a beautiful, just a beautiful vegetable risotto. You do see a lot of, like, a few ingredients in here. There's a lot of that, like, hearty green spice that the South Green is known for. It comes from sort of, it's almost like this. It's like if you combined chilies with a kind of like wheatgrass almost. There's a very, it's not quite floral, but like a very grassy taste to it, but also has a lot of heat. See, there's some like mushrooms tucked in away here that have probably been foraged on the island.
This looks delicious. I can't wait to get the lobster with this too.
Like, oh.
And he starts
Oh,
eating.
the lobster,
eating
yes. Thomas, the lobster. And you were saying you requested a conversation with Thomas, correct?
Oh, it's here.
Yes.
I'll go get him. It's fine.
Oh no, please,
Perrin's
don't
standing up.
trouble
pushing his
yourself.
chair in.
I'll
No, it's
go.
fine, I'll go.
No, please.
No, I'll let him know about the lobster.
Vladimir is going to get up and physically try and stop you. So if you're going to try and fight through it, it's a contested athletics check. You can do acrobatics though.
He's a little limp. He's not going super hard. He's
Okay.
Juan is also
Let him
tugging
get Thomas.
I rolled
tugging
a 2,
Perrin's sleeve like,
a
don't be
2,
rude.
A 2 plus
Sit back
0.
oh boy. Yeah, so Perrin just walks to the doorway but doesn't actually open it. Is he Thomas?
Oh. Yes, hello, I am Thomas. The help?
Right. Could you bring the lobster and like way more wine?
Oh, yes, though, lobster and a lot more wine. Got it, you got it, I'm right on it.
Right.
Oh, thank you so much, Thomas. So, thank you very much, yes.
Perrin
Don't go in
kinda
there,
shakes his
please.
head,
It's very
and when he-
chaos when they cook. Oh, it's such a mess.
Perrin heads back to his seat and kind of shakes his head. And he's like, "Art is dead."
Vlad, what have you been up for the past like couple years? Or
Oh,
so?
the past
Throwing
it's been a long
parties?
time since the first time I saw you. Yes, well, it takes, it took a few.
The last
more than
time
a
you
few
saw me, your head
decades.
was rolling on the ground.
Well,
So
yes, a fun fact, I can still, after you cut the head off, it's mortal and all, I can still see, but you have no control over the head, so it's sort of just rolling and looking, and it's a strange way to exist for a time.
you should write a book about that. That sounds like an interesting perspective.
Oh, have I not? I can't believe how silly of me. I have not shared with you my book. It's a memoir of sorts. It's not published in many places yet. I'm working with different people to, get the deals. Distribution when you live on an island in the middle of a lake in a secret house is not exactly easy to print and ship
What
from
you need
here,
is
but-
you need to hire out a bard to go travel for you and recite stories from it and write
excellent
songs
idea.
about
If
it.
you find a bard who would be willing, but I'll pay a handsome
There
fee
were
for that.
there were some bards down the road that we had dinner with. They were with.
You're forgetting, friend.
Guess what?
I don't live here. Not often that I go onto roads and.
Well, if I see them, I'll send them your way.
Yes.
When was the last time you weren't on this island?
Oh, let's see. Occasionally, I use. There is a passage here that travels to a nearby village. I go occasionally. There are sometimes finding the ingredients I need on this island for feasts such as this it's hard to procure. So it's been several years.
I'd like to roll insight on that.
Go for it.
How many? Have you thrown any parties recently?
It's the last party, let me think. I was thrown
You must
on
get some-
full moon, so almost 30 days ago.
Full moon.
Full moon, yes. Yes. This one, we could not set on the date, full moon is arriving, so everyone's schedule is a little dicey, but the next one, like I said, is in a few days from now.
What
18
of-
on insight.
19.
Nothing that he has said, aside from the allusions to, like, he's it's so much to maintain this very obvious lie that he has not figured out that anyone else has figured out, is like he thinks he did a pretty good job so far, or at least no one's called him on it yet. So he's being very candid with you with everything else.
You must get some pretty juicy gossip with those parties. A lot of loose lips, I can imagine. Especially
Well,
with
heard any-
cooking and wine as good as
Lips,
this.
yes, is
My
Heard
compliments
any
to
good
Thomas.
rumors?
Have you heard anything about snatching bodies or missing corpses in that
Snatching
village that you go to
bodies?
visit?
Heavens, I mean, snatching bodies. Not something I'd rarely
Pretty gruesome stuff,
deal
I
with
know,
the
but I
dead.
would
Of
imagine
course,
it
of
would
course.
be-
If
It's the talk of the town over there.
the talk of the town, I have not heard such things as this. I don't know, perhaps some kind of nighttime specter or boogeyman would not be. Perhaps is the answer. I wish I could help. The gossip that I find myself, rather the tea that I often sip at these parties, is perhaps of a more less necrotic and more carnal nature. You understand, of course.
Speaking of tea, do you have any? I can get it. Fauna's gonna get up and go towards the kitchen.
No, wait! Don't go! Is Fauna gonna go all the way into the kitchen?
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. Thomas
Okay.
must have gone off to do some other errand, but I can make the tea
as
myself.
you enter into the kitchen, Dracul is going to look at all of you. Bathroom problems, got to go! And you see immediately turns into a bat and goes like flying out just flies crashing through the window, just out the window. And Fauna, as you enter the kitchen, crashing through another window into the kitchen, you see like a bat hit a table, go flying off and land behind another table, and then springing up with the like very poorly fixed mustache and a dinner jacket that is now just like one arm is through and it's upside down, springs up in front of you. Yes, you are looking for tea for the dinner out there. All the other cooks have gone. They thought everything was done. I'm handling the kitchen now. I am Thomas.
It's very nice to meet
Thomas
to
is
meet
me.
you, Thomas. That's very nice. But I brought my own herbs. I could just boil some water. Like you
Hot
don't
water,
need to trouble
yes.
yourself.
I can get it. It's not a problem.
No, if I think maybe I heard somebody out there needed to talk to you about something. I totally have this covered if you want to go out and
Yeah. Okay. And Thomas is gonna walk out into the dining room.
I'm gonna snoop around the kitchen.
Is
while they're
there a
still
problem with the food?
You're the chef, right?
No, the chefs have all gone to their quarters
oh no, not
now.
the drop.
Oh no. Which tack was it?
Thomas is really a mess.
Everything is
Falling
falling
apart.
Yeah, I
believe
wanted
there
to.
was lobster.
Oh, yeah, lobster, but also like, are you being treated well here? This feels like
I'm
a
being
poor
treated great.
employment.
Everything is awesome.
Are you
Lobster
sure?
then. Yeah, everything is fine. Well, if I'm being honest, it's not great here. I mean, I'm very alone most of the time.
But what about all
No
the
one
other
wants to
help?
talk to the help who's in charge, so everyone generally avoids me. Even the construction crew. Not really my thing, but they don't really spend a lot of time up here with Thomas either.
Well, grab a seat, friend. Come on, sit down.
Oh, no,
let's have a
I
chat.
couldn't. I couldn't possibly get taken.
I insist. I
your
insist.
employer-
I would.
Okay.
He said he had bathroom problems. It's probably going to take him a while.
Okay. All right. It just
We do
anywhere
want that lobster,
then?
though.
The lobster,
yeah,
yes.
the lobster.
I'll go get it. Thomas is going to go back in, and you just rattles around in the kitchen for a little bit, comes back out
Lovely
So-
man.
with the lobster. It's beautifully garnished.
Fauna's like, when he comes back, because she was like snooping around, and so like to see if she could find anything interesting. But then when he came back in, she's just like making the tea. And then she leaves. When he leaves, she just starts looking around again.
Okay, give me an investigation check in here.
Five.
Or actually, investigation. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. It would be perception, because you're just looking around. You're not looking for anything specific.
Should I roll again or just add my perception?
Just add your
bonus?
perception instead, yeah.
Okay. Then that's 13.
Whew. God, it's so much better.
My perception is very
Yeah.
high compared to my investigation.
13 perception. It is absolute chaos in this kitchen. It is as if one person has done the work of like a team of chefs in here preparing everything. There are spices askew, like pots just like thrown into corners of the room. An absolute mess. In addition to that, you go near one of the far doors in the kitchen, not near the dining room. As you kind of go over by this, you see the door is cracked a little bit. Looks like just some kind of deep descending staircase. There's not a lot of light on the other side of the door. You hear the distant echoes of what sounds like work being done. Digging, burrowing, massive, like little, almost like trimmers that you're close to this door now. You can almost like feel them. And they're too muffled to make out clear, but you can hear like a voice kind of like very distant. If you strain yourself, it seems to be barking orders of some sort.
Did the cat come into dinner? Like when it was dinner time? Did it join us?
Did not come into dinner.
Okay.
You're going to get the cat speaking to you right in this moment.
Oh, I was like trying to decide if I should go down this tunnel or not.
Hey, Fauna?
Yeah.
I followed that. Remember I mentioned there was that weird smell? I took my nap and the sun went away. It's best, by the way, best nap. Really good.
Good.
Yeah, I followed that weird smell and I'm down here.
Wait, you mean like down this tunnel that I
Oh, are you
in the kitchen?
You found the tunnel in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what these things are or what they're doing. They're pretty busy down here.
What do you mean by things?
I mean,
Like they're not human.
I don't know. We've never really. I don't know this about you. Do descriptions, like very vivid description. How do you feel about insects?
I feel fine about them.
Okay, yeah, these are like imagine an ant, but it's like a centaur, and it's enormous. These things are probably like 7 to 8 feet tall. So they're really digging stuff out down here. I mean, I know I'm just a cat, but I have serious concerns about the structural integrity of this wing of the house if they keep at this.
Okay, well, just keep a safe distance and let me know if anything changes. I'm gonna try and pass this along to the rest of the group.
Okay, yeah, it's not hard for me to stay out of sight. These guys are pretty
Okay.
focused on what they're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fauna's gonna come back out with her tea. Made a tray of like with a teapot and like cups and set it down on the table and
See, the trick is right before you kill a lobster, you tell it beautiful secret. So it's the last thing on the lobster's mind before, the
What'd you tell it?
brain.
I didn't know lobsters had ears, but yeah, that sounds great.
Yes, it's a common mistake. In the claws
Nix?
is how they...
Hey, Nix, sorry, I forgot something in the kitchen. Could you go grab it for me? It's just my tea herbs. They're just on the counter next to the door and Fauna's gonna describe
of course.
the specific door that
Nyx is gonna get up, and as they're
And
passing Perrin, they're going to cast message and say, ask Thomas about the Erebus, and is going to go into the room to try and into the kitchen, try and see the door.
Thomas?
Yes, I'm Thomas.
What do you know? What do you know about the air? What do you know about the Airbus? Airbus?
Erebus. Oh, there was a man here. Asked a lot of questions about it. I helped him find some books. I don't remember a lot, except he did mention something about, well, it's very delicate. I think it's something about when two souls or more occupy the same body. There's something about being on the timeline, needing to know how long this can happen before the two become one, and it's not two souls anymore. In one body is just one soul and one thing in the body.
Right. This guy who told you this, what was his name?
His name was George.
Where's George? We should ask him.
Oh, he left several days ago. Like
Did he
everyone
take
else does.
those books? I know you guys have like a library system and you needed a library card, so
He's very, very cataloged library system. I take care of it myself.
So were those
yeah,
books
I was supposed to
returned?
ask you.
No, I issued him a library card, and he say he will come back and return the books eventually.
How many days did you check them out for? Because library cards normally have like only a certain amount of time.
You can only check them out for 3 weeks, but I'll tell you right now, that's how we're getting by is the late fees on return books are astronomical. So when he comes around again to borrow books, which I'm pretty sure he will, then when he does, we hit him with those late fees, and then everyone gets their bread buttered.
So I should be careful of that when I check out this book, which Vlad said you would get me a library card.
Library cards?
Yeah, that would
Yes,
be great.
of
If you could
course.
just go to the
Thomas can
library
issue
and
a
get
library
that would be
card.
great.
I can go
you
to
mentioned,
the. I'll go to the library right now.
Right. While you were speaking about bread being buttered, though, I'm gonna go ask Thomas if I can get some bread on my butter.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look. I'm
Vladimir's
gonna go
already
look for
booking it
Vlad.
out of the room.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm gonna check on Nyx to make sure that they found those herbs.
Yeah, several seconds later, immediately, like as a bat, like crashing back through a different window now and like rocketing into his seat, Vladimir comes back. Oh, sorry, friend. This is, as you know, was a big problem. Everything is fine now. How are we doing with our dinner?
Oh yeah, we just decided we were all gonna go down to the library to talk to Thomas.
Oh, to the light. Oh, wonderful. Well, then I shall not, I suppose, bring out the dessert course. He's fine. He's good. He's
Why
good.
don't we
what
have
was
dessert
for
in the
dessert?
library?
A dessert
We
in
can
the
read a story
library.
while we have dessert.
That's an excellent idea. I will go find the help, and you will find
No, I
Thomas
got
in the
it.
library.
I can go get it. I'll go handle that. And Atticus is
should
gonna
go
get up and we'll walk
Pick
towards
out what chapter
the
of your
kitchen.
book you want to read to us while we're eating dessert in the library.
You would like to hear a chapter from
That's
my
great.
memoir?
Yes.
It's so kind. An important question, perhaps, because you know we deliver it different ways. You want me to read you chapter, or you just want me to tell Thomas what chapter to read you of memoir?
You know, I think you
probably
probably
just decide what's easier for you.
Yes,
Atticus walks in the kitchen and sees
that
Nyx
is a
and
strange
just
way to
goes,
phrase that.
I'm in the kitchen now too because I went to check on Nyx.
He's
so.
so we're all in agreement. He's just doing everything right. There's no one else here.
I have something to tell you. Unfortunately, this door, there's like ant centaurs down there building something or carving something out, or it seems pretty sus.
Do you guys feel that? It's like the whole floor is shaking.
Yeah, Kat said
Gets worse
there
the
could
closer
be
you get to the
structural
stairwell.
issues.
Ant centaurs and can I
Give me a history check.
Make like a yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've
Paranormal.
never heard of that, but that's just how the cat described it, so I
you
don't
want
know
me
if
to-
that's a real
You want me
thing.
to go check
19.
things out?
19. Atticus on a 19. God, on a 19, you've never heard of an ant centaur. Seems weird.
An ant.
Perrin wanders into the kitchen and he's holding like 5 bottles of wine and is like eating half of a lobster loose in his other hand. And he's like, do you guys get the feeling that these parties are just like a weekend where he fucks everybody and then kills them all? Is that the vibe you guys are all getting?
Based off the information we got
Where
from
did
that
you get all
tavern
that
keeper, yeah.
Wine so quickly.
What? I just there was like bottles out there.
All right, well, you don't need 5 bottles of wine. You can have one
Okay.
bottle.
Can anyone
Quick question.
like
I can
figure it
share.
out?
Just piggybacking off of what Perrin said, we all don't trust this guy, right?
I mean, not after the
No.
ant centaurs. I don't think I do.
Yeah,
Clearly,
yeah, I mean,
he's lying, got something going on in the basement.
Right.
Everything we learned about the Filth King lives on an island in the middle of Lake Lenore. There's only one island. We're on it.
Oh.
I'm just
Snatching
so
bodies. He just
slow to
admitted that he has
judge
a
after
tunnel going to the village that he only
Right, but
goes
Thomas-
at night.
Thomas is a straight shooter. Like, I feel like if something weird is going on,
Oh,
Thomas
Perrin.
would tell us.
Vox is out there talking with
Sweet summer
Vlad, trying
child.
to get him to invite all the help to sit in the library for his chapter
hold
reading.
on.
Oh,
one
you
second.
want
Fox
all
is
of them is
being a
such
champion right
show
now.
I think that it would be
together.
a great time,
my
right? They
God.
deserve a little
Nyx?
break, especially after this
Oh.
great dinner they had to prepare.
I don't know. I have headache. Is lobster always gives me headache
Alright.
when I have to think
you have
about
a shellfish
how many
allergy?
lobsters. Oh,
You
oh, yes, I've just forgotten. A horrible shellfish allergy. I must be leaving right now. Is the reason for Patrick. Everything explained.
okay? But don't forget to let Thomas know what chapter of that book
Yes,
to
of
read, and that we're
course.
having
Yeah,
dessert
okay,
in
thank
the
you,
library.
goodbye. Goes running out of the room.
I like strawberries.
Again, out of the same door that Thomas ran out of.
I'm just like so slow
I'll join
to
everyone
judgment
at the
with
kitchen.
with this guy because like I
You
cut his
cut
head
his
off once.
fucking head off. Slow
Was
to
he
judgment,
this
my
insane
ass.
before
But
you cut his head off, or is
this
this like
is
it
the
grew
new
back wrong?
Atticus. I didn't stick around to find out.
I'm just
Well,
saying
what
because
was
we
he like
can
before
reserve
you killed
judgment,
him?
but we should probably go see what the ant centaurs are and then decide how we feel.
Agreed.
Oh
Quick
yeah, there's
pause.
ant centaurs
Vox,
in the basement. Just
how'd you
fun
leave
fact.
him? How much time do we
What?
have?
Oh, well, apparently he's got a shellfish allergy, and he's got to
Hey,
figure it
hey,
out.
Did he
Thomas
eat
needs to
Perrin,
figure
do you
out.
do you remember back in Asparia when I was like, I'm Atticus the hero, like tore me the castle? Do you remember
Yeah.
that? Remember when we did that? How about just follow me? I got an idea. And Atticus
Hold
is
on, why
gonna
don't we
walk
just
out.
fucking go down there?
Yeah,
Say
I
we
think
got
yeah.
lost on our way to the
that's what we're
library.
doing.
What is he gonna do?
Nyx is going to major image all of us walking back into the dining room, sitting down in our places, and attentively listening as he reads.
But he's reading in the library, right?
He is reading in the library.
Library.
Okay,
yeah.
the library.
I see Nyx do that in the dining room, and I just yell out of the thing like, actually, we want to hear you read in the kitchen. We're so full from your meal. Please come. And if we're quiet, we just can't. If we're
In the
quiet,
dining
we're
room,
just,
not the kitchen.
Yes,
No, sorry, the dining room.
I'll bring
I'm so sleepy.
Who?
Maybe we could play some cards too.
Yes, of course. Cards sounds great.
All right, that's pretty sick that you can do that, Nyx. All right, let's go check this out.
Go.
Yeah, it costs a lot for me. I'm not just. I can't hide you guys in this case. All right, so please be quiet.
Perrin slips 3 of the bottles
Neat.
of wine into his bag, but keeps one in hand.
Okay. You are all heading down there. As you all head down there, go ahead and all of you can give me perception checks as you head down.
Stealth check for me, certainly.
Cool.
My stealth
What's
check
lighting?
was a 27.
Yeah.
It's torchlight.
That's a
wait, are we
9 for
doing stealth or
for me.
perception?
Please not stealth. I have a disadvantage.
Stealth. If you want to do it stealthily, then we can also do a group stealth check. I will also say,
27 on
like,
my stealth check.
Cletus is with all of you. Cletus is going to make that check too, but Bert is still in the hot springs.
I rolled a natural 1 with disadvantage on stealth.
How long can Bert be
It's a
in the
19 on
hot
Cletus's.
springs before he cooks?
Before I don't know.
Okay.
I
5 on stealth.
rolled perception first when you said perception, and I got 28.
Okay, cool. 28.
And then on
so-
stealth, I got. I get to roll that with advantage. 18.
Perrin notices that Atticus is not stealthy at all and does not try to be stealthy either. He just is going to clomp around next to Atticus to make Atticus feel better.
Okay.
Atticus notices and he's like, "Thanks, bud."
I rolled a 24 on perception.
Cool. As you all descend the stairs, the noise gets louder and like the rumbling becomes not so distant. Is as if somebody is tunneling, or somebody's, like a group of people is tunneling into the ground down here. The noise is so loud that even not making sound, like you're certainly not going to be heard coming down the staircase. Because as the staircase starts to open up, you hit a certain point to where the staircase is continuing to descend, but you are now in an enormous open chamber. Torchlit, the stairs descend for about another 30 feet, just kind of onto a bare rock floor. You can see some of the underpinnings of Novalore under here, like support columns. Those are all, for the most part, being avoided. And it looks like this is a dig site, but not to dig in any they're just going down because nearby, kind of like, as soon as he sees you, Fauna, the cat is going to come like slinking out towards you from the shadows. But in the distance where this dig is happening, probably about 80 feet away or so from the base of the stairs, you see a group, about a dozen or so, of these enormous, what the cat pretty accurately described to be like a cross between a centaur and they're these massive ants, but with a more humanoid torso, kind of. Still just, 4 legs, but then 2 arms, enormous insect-like heads, those big, powerful ant jaws, reddish tinge to their skin. The eyes, like large, are a little less insected and a little more forward on the head, so a little more of an approachable appearance for such an enormous insect. You can see there is one barking orders in a language that none of you speak. So you just hear this one that's kind of like seems to be sort of barking orders at the other 11 who are actively, you see, like bringing up things that like they're tunneling down. Yeah, they don't notice you.
All right. Well, there's bugs.
What?
The
What
ant
fuck are
centaurs.
these? What the hell am I looking at?
Ant centaurs.
Nobody knows.
What are
I'm
they
gonna go ask him.
looking for?
Perrin, this is also something I think, Perrin, you should make a history check too, just being like fairly well traveled.
13.
Okay, yeah, 13. You've got no fucking idea.
Yeah, I
Atticus,
do. They're ant centaurs.
They're ant
I have an
centaurs.
idea.
Yeah. Atticus, you're going to, as soon as you start to approach in that torchlight, the main one who seems to be barking orders looks over at you, says something in the language, cocks their head, and not in like a I'm about to kill you way, but with the energy of someone who is like a boss and thinks that maybe you aren't supposed to be here, does come immediately like marching over, not running, but like marching over to you. You see some of the other like creatures stop what they're doing sort of and like slowly set their boulders aside.
Hey,
approaches you.
hate to bother you things, but I might be the new proprietor of this house. I'm a very rich man, and I've been asked to tour and learn everything.
Common,
so,
you speak common. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. What were you speaking?
Yeah, that's Formian, so it's understandable. You wouldn't, I picked up a little bit. It's not my first job here in the mirror, so.
Is there a language you're more comfortable with?
I mean, unless you speak Formian, common's great for me, friend.
All right. Well, I'm.
Listen, I
just
gotta
checking
say,
in.
I don't know what you're doing down here. I don't know, you are go between. I told Mira this job was another 3 months at best before we got this thing finished. So.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand that. Mira just wanted a little progress report.
Give me a deception check.
Oh, Vox is going to step up to Atticus's side and listen in case this goes bad with her history of Mira.
Karen's gonna step around the corner and cast Disguise Self and disguise himself as Amira.
18 on deception.
Okay. I rolled a nat
Yeah,
20. I rolled a nat 20 on my insight check.
Ooh,
Yeah,
sure.
listen, bud. You can cut the bullshit. I know Mary didn't send you here. Listen, I don't know who you are or why you're down here. I don't know if you're friends of that fucking weirdo upstairs. He invites guests here. We hear the parties. Not my business. That's not what I'm here.
Wait, he
to-
actually has guests here during the parties?
Oh, doll, listen. What they get up to up there, again, not any of my business. I'll tell you, sometimes the noises get louder up here than they do up there than they do down here. So, yeah,
Perrin steps around the corner as
Not my
Mira.
thing. 4 limbs. Ugh, disgusting.
Perrin steps around the corner as Mira.
What is for disguise self and it's an investigation check, right? Is the
To
DC on
discern
that?
that you are disguised, a creature can use its action to inspect your appearance and must succeed on an intelligence check against your spell save DC.
Just intelligence, not investigation?
Oh, yeah, investigation,
Okay.
sorry.
It's a +2 to this roll. That is only a 6 for an 8. Oh!
You needed to hit a 16.
Holy shit!
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You just passed your first test by not listening to this buffoon.
Oh,
Perrin
boy.
is serving.
I feel like I
very
really stepped in
cunty
it now.
Mira.
Okay.
It's okay. We all make
No,
mistakes.
you did well.
I'm the nice one, by the way.
Wait, I thought I was the nice
There
one.
it fucking goes again.
We're both the nice one.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
I'm
Perrin is just standing at the corner.
Sorry, got it.
So like I said, a progress report would be great.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't mind, I'm just going to talk straight to,
Are you sure you want to do that? I mean, I'm the nice
Yeah,
one.
Mira's pretty pissed.
I'm now tapping my foot
all
against
right,
the ground.
okay. Yeah, listen,
Super
I know
long
we're a little
turn.
behind. We're a little behind. I said, we got three more months, probably. Three, you know what? We fit 6 weeks. What, boys, what do you think? Oh, shoot. You see some of them kind of look at each other, and then one of them pipes up a little bit back. Yeah, 6 weeks. We do 6 weeks. 6 weeks sound good. Of course, we're not going to charge you extra for the, the overage.
Mira wants to know if you remember what you're looking for and what you're digging for.
Yeah, we're just supposed to find the remains, some kind of antechamber catacombs at the at the base of digging a structural tunnel way to get down there. It's a lot of
Atticus is
earth
like
to
standing
move.
like he's getting a message, and he's like, and he looks back and all right.
Perrin's doing one of these.
Yeah.
I'm Charles Xavier.
Yeah, all right. Show us. Show us how far you got.
No problem at all. Throw the dig site. All right, boys. You see the remaining 11 Formians are also going to, most of them are going to scurry up onto the sides and, come right this way. Sorry, we got off on the wrong foot. My name's John Cho. So it's good to meet
It's all right,
you.
man. I forgive you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm Derek Journeyman.
Nice. There, we got a couple journeymans ourselves. Filling out the construction crew. So, okay. Well, yeah, Thor. No problem. We're gonna head down. Yeah, you just come with me. Are
I roll
you
insight?
all heading down? Yeah. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Nat 1.
This ant is as likely to lead you to what they're digging to as he is trying to murder you once you're in the confines of the tunnel.
Are you my dad?
Hey, listen, pal. Don't get any. For me, much. We don't really have dads. We got one queen. Who knows who your dad was? It's a hell figuring that business out. Thousands in every hive. It's mostly important who who your mom is.
Perrin clears
She
his
was
It's okay. Wanna give them a
this
little
is so
pat?
much. I'm sorry.
him.
It's been a really long time since I've been back in the.
Aw. Why don't you tell us about your mom a little?
It's beautiful. This beautiful, beautiful woman. This warm, kind, 6 cradling limbs. And you got the way that when we would wake up, the warm pulse of the glistening thorax in the morning that would wake you up before. I can still feel it.
We're on a bit of a time crunch here, and this is getting really uncomfortable. Yeah, so if we could go back to the tour.
I understand. I'll. It's just, when you open that door, it's just, who knows where you're gonna go. Okay, all right, let's head down this tunnel. Here we go. I'm just going to show you down the tunnel. It's a big tunnel. It's constructed very well. Torchlight, again, it's wide enough for pretty much all of you to walk through, like shoulder by, like, again, these, like, they're not giants, but they are pretty large. For these Formians to, like, travel up and down the tunnel, they need a pretty wide space. Yeah, like I said, I mean, at best, probably 6 weeks away from seeing construction through on this. We're not going to break through the other side. I mean, but as you can see, good structural integrity, whatever's down here, you're going to be able to get it back up easier. Again, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't quote you my fee for getting stuff back up to the, excavation is merely deconstruction, construction, whatever you want to call it. Excavation will be another. But I've loved working with you so much. Give you a discount. You just if you want to work with us again, John's your favorite Formian foreman.
I have to ask not to doubt your work. I'm sure you're experts at this. That's why we hired you.
Oh,
but
we've been doing it a long time.
Yes. Yeah. You said Namira wasn't your first rodeo here, which that's impressive resume. We've been extending outside of the continent. Yeah. Is it, how structurally sound is it to be digging under a lake like this? Under a house too, no less.
Oh, it's our job to make it structurally sound. We sprung a leak about a month and a half back, flooded the town a little bit. Mac was down at the bottom. Breathed in a lot of the, anyways, that's part of why it's taking longer. We got a smaller crew now. Mac had to call it, and we haven't heard how he's doing, but when, decided to make the journey back home, what with the water in his lungs and all.
Yeah, you said, one second, Mirez. And Nyx is gonna mime Atticus's little, and then kind of like parse off as if they're having a private conversation.
Oh yeah.
Perrin takes a big swig of wine.
Yeah, you reach the end of this tunnel. John Joe has showed you pretty much the entire thing. It's not finished yet. It's just an incredibly well-built and structurally sound tunnel that is heading further down underneath Novalore.
This seems like a lot of work. There really is no other way to access the chamber that you're trying to get to?
Oh, no, supposedly, whatever's a catacomb or, what have you, some kind of burial site for some really old lady got put down here long time ago. It's things like that. I say you bury them that far in there, probably should leave them there and not go digging them up, but who am I to judge? I'm not getting paid for my, my thoughts on things.
Perrin is going to kneel down in the middle of the tunnel, and I'm going to use primal awareness and focus my awareness. Primeval awareness. To focus my awareness to see if I detect the following types of creatures within 1 mile. Not 6 miles, because this is not a forest. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. It doesn't reveal location or number.
Does it say that it doesn't say that they have to be living, does it?
Nope.
Dead undead.
Deep beneath, probably, oof. I mean, still hundreds of feet down. You sense deep in the earth an undead presence, something, and not just any undead presence. You sense a power there. Whatever undead energy is, you feel like you are tapping into the source of it. The mother, the queen, the head of the body, all things undead, and also specifically vampiric. This is the source of all of them.
Perrin is gonna kind of stand up. Can't really communicate this, but he's going to look at Atticus and give it a little this.
Whoa. Atticus is gonna mouth, and if they pick her, if they're gonna pick this up, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Atticus is gonna say an abyssal. You want me to kill them?
A lot of dice. Abyssal or primordial?
A bit. Or you speak primordial too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I say in primordial. Wait. You want me to kill him?
Also in primordial, but in an affected higher voice, hoping that the different language covers up the accent difference. He says, "No, fire them."
Atticus is gonna say, "I'll do you one better." He goes, "You know what? My boss just told me they understand the plot of how you've been feeling, how you want to go back to your hive, and they know you've been working hard. This is a very gracious thing that Mira is doing right now. They're gonna give you 2 weeks vacation paid to go rest up.
Two
Go see your family.
2 weeks vacation. 2 weeks.
Mira gives 2 big thumbs up to this guy.
This is a very generous gift. I
2 weeks
would
to
take
get all the
it.
way
Every
back home.
time.
Gee, I don't know what to say. It's the nicest no one's ever offered to go back home and see Mom again.
There was 13
And the
of them, right?
thorax.
Yeah, I think
There's 13 people working. Atticus is gonna
11 total, including
Atticus
the
is gonna
foreman, so
pull
12.
out 11 gold pieces and one for each of your people, just to show. I don't.
Oh, I mean, no. Listen, Fred. It's like paying, cents on the dollar, which is a weird term for me to know. I don't know if that translates to the same thing in common. You don't have to give the. I mean, it's, it's negligible in the amount of, the payment. I trust you're good on your end. I've seen
All right.
seen the
It was like a
coffers,
bonus,
so.
but
No, it's.
I know. I'm aware. Remember, I'm the nice guy. I'm just trying to be nice.
Right. No,
Just for,
I don't want to offend. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Perrin pulls a dagger out of his belt and just looks at the dagger.
Shit.
Real quick, just for security purposes, I have to ask, I'm one who signs all the paperwork. While you're gone on your vacation, well-deserved, well-earned, these 2 weeks, I have to ask structurally, if we did spring a leak and this whole cavern flooded, would that destroy the island? Would it destroy the house above? Or are we good?
Oh, I mean, I can't promise you flood this. You know, you could lose the whole right wing of the house upstairs. You know, I know that wasn't, you know, you said that, you know, any cost, but if we can keep the above intact, you know, for historical and
Yeah, no, we don't want to lose the house.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't
course.
probably lose the whole thing. You'd definitely lose part of it.
I haven't been around for the whole tour. Do you know what we would lose in the right wing of the house?
Oh, right wing of the house. I mean, God, I gotta say, when I looked at the floor plans, I was mostly looking at structural integrity. Probably, I think you'd lose the library. You definitely lose the dining hall and the kitchen.
Historical
probably
value. There's
some
a
of the
lot of information in that
bedrooms.
library. Yeah.
You wouldn't lose the armory. It's it's in the other wing of the house. You'd be fine there. Nyx, in this moment, I want you to give me an insight check.
$18.
On an 18, when you cast a spell and leave it in a place, in some sense, part of your focus, your concentration, and therefore part of your consciousness remains focused in that place to maintain something like a major image. Although incredibly subtle, so much so that some casters wouldn't even really notice it, you have this tether to that spot now. As evening shifts into night, you're so close to the full moon now. Something upstairs, you can't tell. It's not Vladimir returning, but you feel a presence upstairs in the room with the minor illusion. You feel, and it feels you get the exact same feeling that you used to whenever the Waning Knight was present in court when you were a child.
Yeah, I need to go. Sorry, duty calls. I'm gonna go check up on that. The floor plans in the right wing. Just
It
make
sounds
sure.
like we all
I
gotta go too. So I'll
T's
just
and dot
follow
my
you out.
I's. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean, this is great. 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks. It sounds really good. All right, boys, everyone, pack it up. You can see all the Formians start getting together and marching out. Nyx.
In message to Atticus, as Nyx is turning and going up the stairs and passing by the group, they're going to say, "Someone is here. I don't know yet if they're friend or foe. I barely know them myself. But they are not someone to be trifled with." And they're going to head up the stairs.
Yeah, Atticus follows.
Mira also follows.
What? Where's everyone going?
Vox is
More
gonna turn
important things
to
right now.
this guy, Joe something, and just look at him and be like, maybe you guys should take an alternate exit. Mira has guests, and you wouldn't want to disturb them right now.
I think there is
Yeah,
a
no
aforementioned
problem.
tunnel that
Finding
leads out
no-
to the village.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure you know it.
It's not
All
a
your
problem. Yeah.
subterranean, yes.
I've seen what goes on in that house upstairs. I'm no problem.
Mhm.
Steer clear.
Good work.
Yeah,
Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. That's,
Take
again,
all
it's been an
the
absolute
time you
pleasure.
need.
2 weeks. See you back here in 2 weeks. The Formians are going to head out. You see that there is a small sublet down here. As they head out, if everyone is heading back up to the dining room, Vladimir, not there yet. As you enter again, come back up the stairs through the kitchen into the dining
While
room.
heading up the stairs, Nyx is going to take out the loonstone. Still missing a piece, but they're going to put it over their head.
Oh.
And have it out.
You put it out as you all head back up to the top floor, enter into the dining room. Twilight is gone. It's no longer dusk. It is nighttime. And you can now see a moon shining above. Day away from being full. It's almost there.
Wait, I just realized that means Nyx and Atticus share birthday. That's adorable.
It's cute.
I also, now I'm just realizing this.
Party, party.
You reach top of the stairs into the dining room. All of you see seated around the table that major image of all of yourselves sitting there, moonlight shining down. From across the table, there is an image, spectral and translucent, almost matching the moonlight so that, when it walks into the brightest beams of moonlight that cascade through the windows, it almost seems to disappear. So there's kind of this flickering effect as they're walking through. Nyx, you see a slim, shadowy figure. All of you do, but Nyx, you recognize the Waning Knight. A helm pulled down low over their head so that their eyes are almost cast in shadow. You can't see them. Everything is kind of just this pale white. I mean, again, it's a spectral form, so there's no color to the skin or the armor or the... Looks at you from across the table.
Wayne,
It's been a long time.
do you still recognize your prime?
I look at you with my eyes. I see your face, but I do not recognize you. So long you have been gone from your lands and your station. I wonder, do you even recognize yourself?
I wonder more about your comparison. You failed us and left when we needed you most. You betrayed your court, your kings, and your prime.
I betrayed your family. I was loyal to my court. You
Your
never
court is in
embraced-
shambles because of your work.
Well, and here is another thing for your shambles as well. And onto the table, again spectral, just like the image of the Waning Knight in front of you now, you see cast rolling down the table the spectral head of the Waxing Knight. Your power is broken, Prime. No more light. Only shadows. Only night.
Tell me this is a trick and you did not just do that.
It is no trick. And neither is this. And you see through the major image of you, Nyx, sitting at the table, the Waning Knight is going to stab from the back, and you see this spectral dagger pierce out through exactly where the Lunestone is on the major image. You feel something pull inside of you. All of you in this moment see Nyx, and then in the next instant you see nothing but a locket and the stone drop to the ground. Major image disappears, spectral image disappears. There's nothing now remaining but the locket on the ground.
Is the Wayne figure still there?
Everything's gone.
Yeah, I think Vox would instinctually like lunge for the locket and to just like the Lunestone to pick it up.
You lunge for it. As
Doesn't
you
know
do,
why, but does.
Vladimir comes back into the room. I could not decide if I should start with the first chapter or go into the middle. Oh shit. It feels weird in here. Is everyone doing okay?
No, the vibes are really up.
Yes, I am getting
We're
that.
still waiting on dessert.
Oh, fuck. The dessert.
By the way,
Yes.
I'm still mirror up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Vladimir's eyes fall on you standing there. Hold on. I'm going to roll a little wisdom saving throw right now.
Fauna like jumps in front of Perrin, like trying to act like she's like covering,
Yeah.
but like clearly not obscuring at all.
That's an 11. Anyone that wants to can make me a perception check. Or an insight check. Either one.
13.
I have a 17.
Cool.
Flat 10.
26.
Oh my god. And are all those were you all doing perception or some perception and some
That was
insight?
perception for me.
Insight.
Okay. Easily anyone who got a 15 or over on a perception check, there is a little bit of piss running down Vladimir's pants. Just a little bit. Not a lot. You rolled an 11. For the insight check, a deep, just like an absolute fear passes over. Not the fear of like vampire can't die, but the fear of someone who considers themselves helpless in a situation with someone passes over Vlad's face. Oh, I did not think you would be coming back here so soon.
Perrin lifts up his deputy badge.
I'm not sure I understand. What is some
Vlad, did you know that you have ant centaurs in your basement?
Oh yeah, those guys, they don't. I try to talk to them. They don't really have much time for me. Also, they can't really communicate. We don't speak the same language I learned, so it's tough.
They speak common.
Is they what?
Yeah. They speak
No,
common.
I specifically tried to speak with him in like 7 different languages.
Anyway,
Okay, well, that is another one for my diary. I suppose I will write down my feelings in that. So you.
Vlad, do you know
Oh,
what they're looking
no.
for?
Ask her. She's the one who sent them here. I didn't think you were coming back. I'll excuse myself. I know you don't need me here. May I
Perrin.
leave? What do you
Honestly,
say,
like give Perrin a
Perrin?
little nod and like, like come on. No?
May I be allowed to leave then? I ask.
Yeah,
with
I mean, you can
humble-
stay, you can go, it's up to you. Perrin kind of shrugs his shoulders and adjusts his cloak. And like it just falls away to the degree where I would imagine Vladimir's like, why did I think that was Mira?
Oh. Oh. I apologize, friends. It's been a long day. Very unexpected you dropping in on me. Not again. I appreciate the visit. You're all welcome. Please find your room. Thomas will be finding you in the morning for. I'm counting there is one less than before.
Nope,
Yes?
we're fine, thank you.
no.
Okay.
Good
Will
work.
you actually have Thomas show us to our room? Because no one, you only give us directions here.
Oh, are you sure? I would be happy to do it for you.
Oh, I wouldn't
don't
want to
wanna
bother you
trouble
with
you.
something the help does,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
you're
no
very
you're
trouble.
the
cute.
owner of the house.
Okay.
Or do you have a housekeeper, groundskeeper?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someone
Sure.
in the I
I'll
would
go
really
get
appreciate
them.
I'd really appreciate like
Perfect.
someone in the women gender, just to show me to my room. I would feel more comfortable with that.
Then we'll-
Okay, that is a big ask, but I am supposing
See you in the morning.
I can. Yes, I see you in the morning. Vladimir is just kind of continuing to ramble to him, just sort of like slumped shoulders, walks out of the room.
As we fade to black.
As we fade to black in the space. And that's where we're going to cut it. We'll be back next week with another session of Castle Run. Thanks everyone who watched, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.